vflw.com.au to find out how. Because safe...
To anybody at any age. The best way to help someone is to learn the signs of stroke and know how to act fast. F is for face. Has their face drooped? A is for arms. Can they lift both arms? S is for speech. Is their speech slurred? Do they understand you? T is for time. Call 000. Time is critical. If you see any of these symptoms, act fast. Learn the signs of stroke and you could save a life. Go to strokefoundation.org.au/fast to find out more.
If you're after the most comprehensive coverage on women's football across Australia, then look no further than Rookie Me Central. Formerly Draft Central, Rookie Me Central has news and reviews, podcasts, videos and much, much more on all the state leagues across the country, including the VFL Women's and NAB League Girls. Find out why everyone turns to Rookie Me Central for their women's football content. Follow Rookie Me Central on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at Rookie Me Central.
Storms are Australia's most costly natural disaster. Getting prepared now is the best way to protect people and to minimise damage to your property. Keep your gutters, downpipes and drains clear and stash any loose items in yards or on balconies. Trim any trees and branches hanging too close to your house and keep your roof in good repair. For emergency help, call the SES on 132 500.
There are plenty of classic hits radio stations, but this is where GoRadio.live is different. We unashamedly select the best music from our chosen era. We develop programs that provide the music with minimal interruption. For many hours of the day, you won't hear any announcers, just great music and the occasional station ID. We let the music play through until the end, no crossfades and no announcers talking over the start and end of tracks. We think you're going to love GoRadio.live, radio as it should be. Check it out at www.goradio.live or download the free app from Google Play or the App Store.
We'd like to show you what's dangerous about Australian rivers.
Free confidential information and support.
Feeling a little down? Drop into the Reach Out website at reachout.com.au and let us put a spring back in your step. When times are tough, clear your head at reachout.com.au.
Hi, Kirk Pengilly from InXS here. And whether it's music, sweet things, puppies, movies, we all love our treats. But our eyes need treating too. 300,000 Australians, including me, are affected by glaucoma. Diagnosed early, glaucoma can be managed. Left undiagnosed, it can cause blindness. So treat yourself by treating your eyes to a simple test. Book your test at treatyoureyes.org.au today.
Get back to work. But I am working.
What, your latest Instagram post?
I'm lodging a free dial before you dig.
00 during business hours.
It's the VFL Women's Match of the Day.
Indeed, it is the VFL Women's Match of the Day on the VFLW YouTube channel, live from Arden Street Oval. Peter Holden with you, not on the usual wharfradio.com call, warfradio.com. That game today, getting underway in a couple of minutes, is at Icon Park. That's also available on VFLW YouTube. It's Carlton versus Port Melbourne. But we're here today at Arden Street Oval to bring you an intriguing game, North Melbourne and Darebin. Both sides are struggling a little bit early to start the season. Darebin did have that one win against Williamstown, a great come-from-behind victory in round one. And it's worthy of note, as much as a lot of people are tipping North today, when these two sides met last year at this very ground, Darebin knocked off North Melbourne. We could be in for an intriguing clash. Joining us today, making his debut for the first time on the VFLW YouTube stream. You may have caught him before if you watch football in the AFL out of East. A very good morning to Liam Vernigan.
Thank you very much, Peter. An absolute pleasure to be here. Never sat up this high at any sort of venue before. Been watching Arden Street on the TV in years gone by, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here, as I said, and I'm looking forward to the first real taste of VFLW action today.
I think the last person that sat up this high at Arden Street Oval was that poor kid on the elephant that got loose here sometime in the 70s, and I don't think they've still come down yet. We've got, as I said, an intriguing clash here in the VFLW, but just to give you some results that have happened so far in VFLW Round 4. Yesterday we were at the hangar for WharfRadio.com where we brought you the Essendon versus Williamstown game. And Liam, the Bombers 10-5-65 to the Seagulls 2-1-13. The Bombers are one of only two teams undefeated at the moment. Sky-high percentage at the moment on the ladder, 573.2.
That's just a lazy percentage, if you ask me. They could probably double it, but that's an impressive win. They're really just cementing themselves at the top of the ladder in the early stage of the season. They'll keep going, in my opinion.
Now, to Williamstown's credit, that game wasn't one-way traffic. What was one-way traffic was out at Casey Fields. The Bulldogs, they've been struggling. There's been times where they haven't been able to play AFLW players in their side, and they were one straight six. They went down to Casey, 15-7, 97.
Yeah, that's comprehensive as you can possibly get, really. And only kick one goal. It's be a little bit disheartening, but I'm sure the Dogs, once even the AFLW season comes to an end, they can bolster up that VFLW side and can really make a charge late.
Everyone was talking up the Geelong Cats. They had won 3 games on the trot at Deakin University. It looked like it could be maybe them and Essendon people were talking about as a potential grand final matchup because they met in the preliminary final last year. But everyone keeps forgetting about the Southern Saints. They consistently make finals football, and they're the first side to claim the Cats' scalp. 6-3-39 to 3-1-19.
Yeah, well, the Cats would be really, really disappointed with that. Obviously, they did make the grand final that didn't go ahead last year, and they had a really good start to the season, as you said, 3-0, and to lose down at Deakin, gee, they would be a little bit disappointed with that.
And then we also had on the AFL.com.au stream game, Collingwood. As we said, when they got knocked off by the Southern Saints in round 1, it was their first loss in 891 days. They went undefeated throughout that 2020 season. They'd made the grand final. Of course, the grand final didn't happen due to COVID. They seemed to bounce back with a win over North Melbourne, and things seemed to be on the right track again. And then Hawthorn came to town. Hawthorn 5-4-34, beating the Pies at Victoria Park 4-2-26.
Seems to be the week of upset so far. The Hawks will be very, very happy with that going forward, no doubt.
And as we said, today we have got Carlton and Port Melbourne getting underway also at 10 a.m. That is on WAFradio.com and on VFLW YouTube. And, of course, right here on VFLW YouTube, we have got North Melbourne versus the Darebin Falcons. Having a look at both sides, I guess the biggest name that we see in for North Melbourne, a name synonymous in the AFLW and cricket as well, Jess Duffin.
Yeah, 100%. Being a Renegades man myself, I've been quite used to seeing Jess Duffin whack the ball around down at the Junction Oval or anywhere in Australia. But I think today should be definitely trying to stake her claim to get back into the AFLW side really, really late in the season as the Rouge definitely push on for finals.
Well, it's intriguing you say that. I mean, Jess, obviously in her mid-30s at the moment, I still think a couple of good years of football still left in her. When she gets dropped, it kind of makes you ponder for a moment going, which AFLW side is she getting into? Because obviously things are flying at North Melbourne, and naturally would love to stay here at North Melbourne. They're in their premiership window. But if she can't or get into the best 22, perhaps she needs to consider the offers that may come from Hawthorn and Essendon, for example.
Yeah, well, that's going to be the big thing with the expansion to the complete 18 sides of the AFLW next year. You're going to see players that play not only at the Victorian clubs, but the sides in the state that will make big offers for players just to have these marquee players play for them. And Jess could definitely be one of those people, because sides at the moment, I think, anywhere around the country are stacked with talent. And when these teams come in, they're going to struggle. So they're going to need top-end talent. And Jess, I still believe, is one of those people that can prove herself at the very best.
I know North Melbourne supporters watching online at the moment are probably hating this. Go, no, we don't want to lose Jess. She's fantastic. Of course, she originally started out at Collingwood, then made the move across in their inaugural season to begin with North Melbourne. But the most valuable commodity that she's got even if she's slowing down, I was going to say like Daisy Pearce, then just Daisy kicked a lazy 5 yesterday against Fremantle. But even if she's slowing down a bit, she's got the most valuable commodity for an expansion side. Or even, for example, let's just roll St Kilda or Carlton off the top of the head. For the younger teams out there that just need a little bit of experience to guide them, she's got that commodity.
Yeah, well, without a doubt. It's funny that you mentioned St Kilda. She could be someone that could replace a Georgia Patrikios or something for standards, or because you just can't replace someone like her. She can pretty much do anything, and she's listed to be on the half-back flank. I'm pretty sure I saw on the team list, but she could play in the midfield or just about anywhere today.
But no doubt what's at the front of her mind is putting in a good performance today to see if she can play finals football with North Melbourne, who could, as the North Melbourne supporters have been telling me, could go springing up the ladder, courtesy of Melbourne yesterday doing that number on Fremantle and completely obliterating Fremantle's percentage.
Yeah, I flicked it on halfway through the third quarter, and I was absolutely shocked at the score. And you already touched on Daisy Pearce kicking a lazy 5 last night. That's really, really impressive. And just to be completely honest with you, I would love to see Melbourne win the AFLW Premiership, because I would love to see Daisy get the medal around to the neck. But Fremantle, they'll still be good. They'll still charge home in the last round of the season.
And, of course, we should mention in the other results, Richmond beating GWS, the Saints beating Geelong, which raised everyone's eyebrows, and then West Coast getting touched up by the Western Bulldogs out there at Optus Oval. I think someone said the score was something, I'm just picking a random number out of my head, but it was something like 170-odd to 20-something. The combined Victorian teams versus the combined WA team score?
Yeah, 175 to 31, I think, all up. Disappointing from, as we've already said, a Fremantle point of view, because they've been really, really good this year. But for West Coast, the struggling 2022 season just continues to go to them, unfortunately.
Not too far away from a bounce down here at Arden Street Oval between LaRuse and Darebin. Of course, we do remind North Melbourne supporters that might be watching at the moment on VFLW YouTube that because of the poor weather conditions in Queensland, that game against the Brisbane Lions did get moved to Whitten Oval in Footscray. 1:10 p.m. bounce down this afternoon. And the best thing about it, Liam, they've made it free entry.
Oh, well.
So if you were umming and ahhing because you're going, I don't want to spend $10 because it's going to run out. Hey, it's going to cost you nothing. So, whack on it. The $10 that you did have, you're going to spend, buy a poncho, go down there.
Yeah, that could be my afternoon sorted. I was sort of thinking about having a look, but now you say it's free. Might have twisted my arm, Peter.
There you go. And I think a lot of people just quietly would have originally tipped Brisbane to win that game, being up in Queensland, but now it's come down to Victoria. I think it would have flipped a lot of views.
Oh, yeah, potentially. I always look at games at Whitten Oval to see where the wind's blowing. And I mean, if you get the wind or you kick against the wind in the first quarter, it could just decide the game. But nonetheless, that should be a cracking game out at the Whitten Oval either way.
Both sides are just starting to line up in the middle here of Arden Street Oval. Starting in the ruck there for North Melbourne is going to be Elizabeth McGrath. And I think she might be up against Paige Kearney here of the Darebin Falcons. Not too far from getting underway. And to kick things off here at Arden Street Oval for the first term on the VFLW YouTube channel, here is Liam Vertigan.
Oh, right into the bus straight away. Umpire raises the ball and we get underway here at Arden Street. No one really won the tap there that time. Lynch sort of got her hands to it, but didn't really, as the ball comes away from the centre square. Getting down to the football was Slaney. She did have it, but she's wrapped up straight away. Well, in fact, a Darebin player gets tackled, and we'll have a bounce just a little bit backward of the centre square. The ball's back up straight away. Tap was won down by McGrath. Getting the ball once again for North Melbourne was Slaney. The handball comes out the back that time to McDonald. And now North Melbourne go on that Macaulay Road outer side near the boundary. And this time it'll go out of bounds far side for a boundary throw-in. We've just gone a little bit over half a minute here in the first quarter.
Brett Gibson seeing the ball over the boundary line and out of bounds. We talk about experiences. We're talking about Jess Duff, and how can we forget Brett Gibson, the Tasmanian. Number of years in the Tassie State League before coming across originally at the Lions, and then, of course, here now at North Melbourne as the ball is thrown back into play. Spinning back in. Lynch to go up in the contest. One out from behind on that occasion by Elizabeth McGrath. Close towards the boundary line. Now seen over and out. Cullinan there going in the contest along with Tess Craven. We'll try and reset the play. Just over a minute gone. No score either side at Arden Street Oval. Darebin are going to right of screen. North Melbourne going to left of screen. Don't forget the other game we've got on the moment on the VFLW YouTube is Carlton and Port Melbourne, which has the same start time. As the ball is thrown back into play, one out by McGrath. Melishon tried to get a hurry kick away, didn't go anywhere. Cullinan was in there, going in and pick up the football with the long sleeves in the 24 is Ali McDonald. Bit of a grubber hand pass, but it worked out okay in the end. Moving it up the line there through Jess Morney was working in the general direction of Ali Mura, but the ball went over the boundary line and out of bounds. So we'll have a throw in somewhere around the half-forward flank here for North Melbourne, again attacking to left of screen.
So as a little bit of a light rain starts to fall here with a little bit of a breeze, a little bit of a crowd has started to turn out as well, which is fantastic to see as the ball's about to go back into play. We got Lynch in the ruck this time against McGrath. Favours McGrath a little bit as the wind sort of traps it a little bit. The ball comes, it's just popping around that half-forward flank area. Lewis Trevan's there for Darebin, got the tackle there affected. Handball comes back towards the centre square. There they'll bring it out to the interchange side. Duffin in the long sleeves is in a one-on-one. She tried to tap it to her advantage, couldn't quite. Nice little bit of buttering up there from the Darebin Falcons player. Fitzgerald had the football, it bobbles around. This time Lagan picks up the footy, and now it's going to come out from a handball from Slaney. She's been busy early. Quick kick that time came from Craven. They're inside forward 50 now, North Melbourne. This could be dangerous. Handball over the top. Didn't really do her teammate any favours as Lawson Trevan was there. The ball gets to about 20 metres from goal, and Darebin will recover. They'll bring the ball out onto the outer side here. Nothing but North Melbourne there, although it's a 2-on-1 here favouring the Falcons. Picking up the ball nicely. That time was Celebra. And now, that's nearly holding the ball umpire, but nothing coming toward here. It's a hot footy early. No one can really get a breather away from it. This time McDonald will get to the footy first. It's a little bit slippery. It's going to be bopping around early. And this time you would think they would get a stoppage just backward of, forward of the centre square for North Melbourne. And we've gone 3.5 minutes, no score.
Here on the broadcast side, giving the ball back to the umpire, Nicole Callanan, the one they called Mum when she played at the Western Bulldogs. Won a flag there, one of 7 flags she's won in her career. Ball's on the deck and everyone wants to jump on. Gogos jumping in there for the Darebin Falcons. The umpire says stalemate. I'll take the football back and we'll restart the play once more. Up in the air we go. McGrath versus Lynch. Lynch originally won the tap, but the second tap there won by McGrath. Put it in towards the centre of the ground. Picking it up there is Bradley, but the umpire says you've been caught holding the football by Angelica Gogos. And Gogos will take the resulting free kick. It was a dicey one to Plunkett, but she managed to take the mark in time before Ali McDonald. Plunkett now goes up the line. Smart footy, controlling possession now with the Darebin captain, Steph Simpson. Simpson runs on the right boot, goes along towards the forward line, looking in the direction of Mifsud, who got knocked off of her hands. Rover got it up and got caught immediately by Bradley. Duffin's looking on the outside. Mifsud goes in to lay the tackle. And the umpire comes in and says, that ball's going nowhere. I'm going to have a ball up 45 metres out from goal.
So Darebin could have the chance to get the first score here. Tap down was won there by Mifsud, who went in the ruck that time. Comes out the back this time. Quick snap on goal by Buckley. We'll get to the top of the square. Went through one set of hands. Still with the footy here at Darebin. Handball went to Buckley. She overran it. Quick snap around. The body has been marked. Played on. Through for a behind. That came from the boot of Cowley Duparquet. And we're on the board early this morning. Darebin one behind. And North Melbourne are yet to score. 5 gone first quarter.
Here at Arden Street Oval on the Rebel VFLW YouTube channel. Nice to have your company on this drizzly Sunday morning. Duffin from fullback. Goes long with the kick. And a mark taken out there was heading in the McGrath direction. She takes it on the half-back flank. Macaulay right side of the ground. And elects to go with a short little pass. Works out okay. This time hitting up Annabelle Scott. Scott with a footy says, well, did the little fake. Said, I'm going up the line and now I'm going to switch and that could be dangerous. Mifsud came in there for the full purchase worth. Simpson as well. Ball hit the deck. Darebin ball. Hurry kick towards an empty goal square. The cavalry's going to have to get back there. It's Jess Duffin and she sees the ball and will pick it up just before it goes out of bounds. Goes with a wonky kick across the face of goal, but it worked out okay in the end. Ali McDonald takes the mark. Back pocket, broadcast side. Sets it up towards a one-on-one. Front position, strong hands by Brooke Slaney. Slaney with the football. Looks to come into the central corridor. Set it up nicely. Slipping over there, Annabelle Scott regained her feet, then got on the right boot. The kick didn't stick. And it is a Darebin ball through Steph Simpson. Goes to the hot spot, 40 metres out from goal. Spoiling work from behind on Buckley's got to kick around the court. That's Buckley now, who had to try and punch the football down after receiving that kick. Gogos got it over the top. Here comes Duffin. Duffin tries to muscle through. Left Mifsud unattended. Spoiled off a boot, but the umpire's pulled out a free kick. And it said it's going the way of the Roos and one Jess Duffin.
Duffin has the footy. She'll take it from the right-hand point post in the pocket. And, the kick was on, but it was dropped at a pretty inopportune time. But they recover. They'll bring the ball out to the Macaulay Road side. Went past McGrath, and now there's a little bit of a foot race onto the footy. McNeese was first to it. Also there was Slaney once again for North Melbourne, and it looks like there's going to be no one winning the footy out there, although they do get it out now. The kick that time came from Ibrahim. She brings it out to the outer side. That was a nice mark taken that time by Brittany Gibson. Now Gibson looks for a one-on-one up the ground. The ball was touched off the boot, and now Darebin can potentially try and get the ball out through the middle, and they will so now because they are out here. Just to need a few numbers out the back of the ball. Duparquet is underneath the footy and takes the mark this time about 70 out from goal. Darebin looking all right here. That's a nice pass as well. That time the mark has been taken by McKay, I should say. McKay to the top of the square. Needs a kind bounce. Goes through! Falcons on the board first. They're 1-1-7. North Melbourne yet to score, and we've just about gone 8 minutes here in the first quarter at Arden Street, Peter. What a good goal there from the Falcons.
And what excellent reward for effort as well. We know they were frustrated last week against Hawthorn when they couldn't kick a goal all day, and they kind of found themselves stuck in their back half. And today, as we've seen, Leah, better movement of the football, better considered options, and they've got the early reward.
Yeah, my word, they have, and it's a very good start, as you said. It could be just... There isn't too much of a breeze here, but we don't know what conditions are like down there at ground level. Certainly a rather fresh morning as McGrath will go up in the ruck here once again for North Melbourne against her Darebin counterpart. Ball's back in the air now. That time it was actually won out by Lynch of Darebin, and straight away one of her teammates is wrapped up by two Kangaroos players, and there was absolutely no chance of getting that out, and we'll have a ball up. Yeah, still just back, just more towards the broadcast side of the centre. Same two in the ruck again, Lynch and McGrath. You would say both ruckmen got their hands on it there. It bobbles to the advantage of Darebin, although the umpires found a free kick, and will go the way of North Melbourne, and will go the way of Annabelle Scott.
So Annabelle Scott with the jumper tucked in. Wanted to go sideways, and the umpire says, no, you got to come back behind the player on the mark and all of that jazz and do your exact line. There's a few seconds get killed off the clock for that. And we'll restart it again. Defensive side of the centre circles. Annabelle Scott goes up the line. A little bit too much juice on the kick.
Great
Almost
tackle.
getting there was McGrath, who came in with the tackle in the end. Kicked off the carpet there. Ali Moora going up the line. Works out okay. Got a runner on the outside, and Murray, if they can get to her, they do. She goes with the hand pass. Couldn't find Skinner. Ball now out in the wing as Duffin does the sweeping work. Picked it up on the left boot. Her kick up the line is intercepted, though. Natalia Meyer got it there for the Darebin Falcons. And Meyer goes up the line to a 1-on-2 dangerous situation there for Celebrity. Got knocked away from her. Murray there. Kayla Murray for the Darebin Falcons. Pardon me, for North Melbourne, rather. And a player just flattened behind play. Just keep an eye on that for us there. It might be Naomi Celebrity. Yeah, and she's getting up a little worse for wear for that. Now Nickus now kicks it in towards the hot spot, 40 metres out from goal. Morney goes in there. And it's going to be stacked in the middle, ball up. We should mention Ashley Mel Nickus. Been around the traps for a while. Played at Williamstown and was a tackle machine there. Did an excellent shutdown job one day on Emma Carney when Emma Carney was playing for Melbourne Uni in 2018 out at Melbourne University's Oval. The umpire blows the whistle here and says we're going to restart play because Annabelle Scott was on the bottom of that pack and it's going nowhere. Let's try it again. Throw the ball up in the air one more time. One out there by Lynch. Callanan got it immediately, is harassed. And the umpire says it's going nowhere. Let's ball it up. 45 metres out from North's goal. And they currently trail by 7 points.
Just to quickly mention, Naomi Celebrity was going to come to the bench. She had her hand on the back of her head there, but she's thrown herself right back in to the contest there as the ball's back up in the middle. Skinner was the first one to run to the football to North Melbourne. Couldn't quite pick it up. And now the ball's out, just contested on the highway here at Arden Street, just in the middle of the ground near North Melbourne's attacking 50. With just a little bit under 11 minutes to go as we have another stoppage. The ball back in the air now. Tap out one that time by McGrath once again. No one's really got the ruck superiority so far today. It's inside North Melbourne's forward 50. Lawson to Van was the first one there to get the footy to Darebin. She kicks the footy out onto the Macaulay Road side. Getting the football that time there was Simpson. She handballed it back to a teammate, and that is hugging the boundary line, and the ball actually goes over the line. We'll have a throw in on that outer side in front of the scoreboard, which reads 1-1-7 Darebin. North Melbourne yet to score. And it looks like we might have someone actually a little bit worse for wear for North Melbourne here. Peter, you might have to have a look at that. The umpires have actually indicated to call time off there.
Yeah, it's one of the North players, definitely in the long sleevers. 42 there, that is Alamura. Alamura is down and being consoled as we speak. And if she's down and hurting like that, that is definitely not a good indication. Now, they've rolled her over, and I think she was pointing towards her left leg. And she tries to get up slowly. I am obviously, fingers crossed, hoping it is not that worst injury that's been plaguing the AFLW and women's footy in general. But we've had many ACLs. I certainly hope it's not that. I just hope it's a rolled ankle or something, a stinger.
It looked to be, just looking through the binoculars here, looks to be a little bit of a grimace on the face there, unfortunately. But she seems to be walking okay, which is always a positive sign. But being helped from the ground, obviously, by the trainers, and it looks like maybe even the club doctor even.
So Alamura going off the ground for North Melbourne, and one would suggest perhaps her day is done, and North Melbourne will be playing one down. As a hush goes over the ground here at Arden Street Oval. If you've just joined us, Darebin 1-1-7, North Melbourne yet to score. They stopped the clock during that injury. Now, remember, the rules are in the VFLW. We play 20-minute straight quarters, no time on, excluding for serious injuries. And when that happens, the field umpire will blow the whistle twice, and the clock will stop for that. And that means that when the clock restarts with Liam Vertigan, there'll be 8 minutes, 16 seconds.
Thank you, Peter. Ball tossed into play now. The wind takes that a little bit, so that favoured Bradley there in the ruck, and they'll get the ball inside forward 50 North Melbourne. They would love a mark here because that's kicked to a genuine one-on-one. Goes out the back. There is someone there for North. It was Nicholas who was trying to run on the back of it, but it's stopped right in the goal square, and the umpires found a free kick, and it'll go the way of Darebin. So Darebin get the relieving kick just in their defence, and it'll be taken by Gunn, who kicks the outer side. That's no good in its entirety. It's gone out in the full, and free kick will go to North Melbourne. It'll go to the way of Ellie McDonald, who's maybe 40 out from goal, deep inside the pocket now. She'll set it up. It's a pretty good kick to the top of the square, but unfortunately no one there for North Melbourne, although grabbing the footy was Skinner. She couldn't get the kick away. This time they do. And that time I think it's just bounced inside the line. It has, and we'll have a throw in a very dangerous spot for North Melbourne. With a little bit over 13 minutes to go here in the first, a little over 7 minutes to go in the first quarter.
And it appears with Alamura, she's gone straight into the room, so that obviously indicates the seriousness of the injury.
She did jog off the ground though.
Let's just hope that they're just doing all the checks and whatever. As we said, we're hoping at the best case it's a stinger, or if anything, a bit of a knock, and we can see her back playing footy real soon. Because no one wants to see anyone out for a year or even a long-term injury that ruins the season. As the umpire comes in, and Noel Nickus doing the tackle work there, and we'll have the restart. 7-point lead at the moment to Darebin as we get ready to restart the play again. And here we go. One out on this occasion by the Falcons. They gained about 20 metres in towards that pack situation, but Ibrahim was waiting out the back for North. And they're doing the old backwards to go forwards job here with McDonald, who got it to McGrath, who launched it back inside 50, but a strong mark taken by Mifsud, who did the ruck work earlier. And Mifsud goes for the short kick. Managed to spot up a teammate. I think that's Buckley from a distance there on the half-back flank. Wally Road side of the ground. Kicks it up the line. Through a few sets of hands. McGrath comes in to lay the tackle. That might have been a throw there. The umpire being generous, allowing to go on. The Callanan is immediately wrapped up. The player laying the tackle there is Perry King. And the umpire will take the footy back. Ball it up between centre wing and the half-forward flank for North.
So the ball is back in the air now. No real ruckman got the hand to it, although Ibrahim was there waiting for the footy there when it came loose, and she'll actually get it again. Handball over the top to a teammate that time in Paterno. That was nicely done there. Edging towards their forward 50 once again here, North Melbourne. And it will come back to the forward centre, but they'll come back once again. Slaney, very busy first quarter. She kicks inside forward 50 to a genuine 2-on-1 there that did not do North any favours. Ibrahim gets a footy again, and a busy minute for her. And now the ball is not going to go anywhere there on that outer side, you would think. Although the umpire is letting it go for a little bit. Now he calls for it, and we will have a ball up once again with a little bit over 5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Still a 7-point lead to the Falcons as the ball was up. Tap out one by McGrath. A little bit of a sling tackle there, none coming towards for either side, free kick wise. The umpire will call for it once again. I'll have a little saying back out in the local leagues of footy. Once the umpire calls for it twice or three times, it means a free kick is coming. So don't be too surprised, Peter, if a free kick comes very, very shortly. Ball's back up in the air. Slaney had the footy and was tackled straight to ground. There's the third stoppage in a row. A free kick will come, I absolutely assure you of that. As the umpire, once again, will ball it up about 55-60 out from the North Melbourne goal. Taking it out of the ruck that time nicely was Lynch. She got about 15 metres on the kick. A little dribbler on the ground. Trying to pick up the ball was Hazlitt. She couldn't do so. And now the ball is still packed in heavily. Heaps of numbers around this footy. No one can really get their hands on it, let alone a disposal away to either end of the ground. It's sort of bopping around. McGrath got the handball that time. North Melbourne now get a little bit of free running footy. Skinner's on it. The footy on the run. It's near the boundary line. She's in a bit of a 2-on-1. Got the handball away nicely, but no, the umpire says you actually went out of bounds before you got the handball away, and it'll be thrown in inside the North Melbourne forward 50.
I'm surprised they actually didn't try and pick up a free kick for a little bit of off the ball, even though it was fairly even. It was Buckley and Malnikas were having a bit of a shove with each other, saying, did you ding my car? It was that kind of shove. They were not happy at all with each other, but once the ball moved on, they forgot about the fight and went back to the footy. So as it's on the deck, maybe a little bit of an endangered job, and that means it's going to be a free kick to Mifsud at centre-half back here for the Darebin Falcons. And she kicks up the line, trying to put it into a path of a running McAloon, but the ball got away from her and went over the boundary line and out of bounds. And that means a lasso rule, last disposal. Free kick going the way of North Melbourne, and Elizabeth Uamagra. She's got it on centre wing, and she decides to come back. It's dangerous because it was almost going to give a 2-on-1 situation. The player was cool, calm and collected, and unless that kick to Loughnane wasn't all that flash. Puts her under pressure, has to spin around and go with a long kick up the line. Malnikas was waiting out the back there for the footy. She will be first in this contest. Cullinan going with her, but Malnikas got the kick away towards the half-forward flank position. Perry King tries to come out and meet the football. And it's going to get all locked in there. The umpire will come back and take it off the hands of Nicole Cullinan. And we'll try and reset the play in front of the scoreboard, which has Darebin 117 leading North no score.
Ball was back up in the air pretty quickly. McGrath got the tap out once again. Very good early superiority in the ruck as the ball's just ever so hugging that boundary line. Quick kick comes away from McDonald, and it's unfortunately gone out in the fall, and Darebin will have a chance to reset from the defensive side of the, let's just say, the outer wing near the defensive 50 this time, and the kick will be taken by Nicole Cullinan by the looks of it, the former dog, who was a part of that premiership side in the AFLW in 2018. She kicks down the line, the Macaulay Road side, and that time it was fisted away by a couple of players collectively out of bounds for a throw in. With just a tick under 2 minutes to go, still a 7-point margin for the Falcons. Lynch and McGrath are going to do battle in the ruck once again, as they have all morning so far here at Arden Street. Waiting for the ball to be tossed back in now. The boundary umpire is in motion. The ball's back into play now. The ruckman jostles the position. I think Lynch got the tap that time straight down to a North Melbourne player who looked to have been grabbed a little bit too high. And yep, that is right. And the free kick is going to go the way of North Melbourne. And it appears to be going the way of Georgia Nicholas in the long sleeve. They play on. Handball was good. So was the kick. Mark taken out in front that time by Loughnane. She wheels around a little bit, kicks inside forward 50. The kick is no good, and it's cut off by Nicole Cullinan. Very busy first quarter for her as well. Kick was effective. Found a teammate on the outer side. And the mark has been taken there, although they've played just about to play on now. Wheel around, use a little bit of a narc, kick down the line. A few North Melbourne players out the back here. Just slipped through the hands of McAloon. And now can... Well, really, I reckon there could be only one team that can score once again from here, and it could be Darebin, although Slaney got the handball over the top to Fitzgerald, and Fitzgerald kicked down the line. And yeah, North Melbourne could potentially be in a threatening position here with 35 seconds to go, but a relieving kick from Darebin might just take a few seconds off the clock, albeit it's gone out in the full and will go the way of the Roos. 25 seconds to go in the first quarter. It's a 7-point margin. And considering the ball's nearly gone out in the road,
well, I'm thinking that might be an interesting tactic when you think about it in the game. I mean, it wouldn't pop into most players' heads, but if you're looking to kill the clock, instead of going down the line and risk turning it over, if you go, if I can kick it out of bounds in the full onto the road, and therefore it takes a while to get through traffic to get the football back, well, you've just killed the clock and you've killed time. As the kick come back into play, immediately into a pack situation. Getting wrapped up there was Georgia Nicholas, should I say, and the umpire says that is time, and at quarter time it is Darebin 1-1-7 leading North Melbourne, yet to score. And as I said at the start of our broadcast here on the VFLW YouTube, Darebin did beat North Melbourne here last year. Does Darebin have North's number? But we've got 3 quarters to find out.
We sure do, Peter. It's been a pretty good contest so far. Darebin just had the edge yet, but we haven't seen North Melbourne kick to the right of screen. We don't know. It could be the scoring end for all we know. But it's interesting to see that it appears that Elamora is still in the change rooms as North Melbourne only have the 3 from the interchange going out at this quarter time break.
Indeed, and as we get ready to throw to our quick break, goal kickers so far, and there's obviously only the one at the moment, that is Emma McKay for the Darebin Falcons. So at the moment it is the Darebin Falcons 1-1-7. They lead North Melbourne, no score. We'll be back right after this.
Can happen to anybody at any age. The best way to help someone is to learn the signs of stroke and know how to act fast. F is for face. Has their face drooped? A is for arms. Can they lift both arms? S is for speech. Is their speech slurred? Do they understand you? T is for time. Call 000. Time is critical. If you see any of these symptoms, act fast. Learn the signs of stroke and you could save a life. Go to strokefoundation.org.au/fast to find out more.
If you're after the most comprehensive coverage on women's football across Australia, then look no further than Rookie Me Central. Formerly Draft Central, Rookie Me Central has news and reviews, podcasts, videos, and much, much more on all the state leagues across the country, including the VFL Women's and NAB League Girls. Find out why everyone turns to Rookie Me Central for their women's football content. Follow Rookie Me Central on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at Rookie Me Central.
Storms are Australia's most costly natural disaster. Getting prepared now is the best way to protect people and to minimise damage to your property. Keep your gutters, downpipes and drains clear and stash any loose items in yards or on balconies. Trim any trees and branches hanging too close to your house and keep your roof in good repair. For emergency help, call the SES on 132 500.
There are plenty of classic hits radio stations, but this is where GoRadio.live is different. We unashamedly select the best music from our chosen era. We develop programs that provide the music with minimal interruption. For many hours of the day, you won't hear any announcers, just great music and the occasional station ID. We let the music play through until the end, no crossfades and no announcers talking over the start and end of tracks. We think you're going to love GoRadio.live, radio as it should be. Check it out at www.goradio.live or download the free app from Google Play or the App Store.
We'd like to show you what's dangerous about Australian rivers, but we can't. You can't see ice-cold water, snags like tree branches or strong currents, but they can be lethal. Although our rivers are beautiful, more Australians drown here than anywhere else. So please, wear a life jacket, avoid alcohol around water, never swim alone, and learn how to save a life. It's simple. Respect the river. For more information, visit royallifesaving.com.au/respect the river.
I came to clean and noticed there was no food in the house.
She told me her sister just forgot to pay a few bills.
He was in for his monthly trim when I noticed the bruising.
Is there anything I can do?
Thousands of older Australians experience elder abuse every year. If you're concerned about someone you know, you don't need to have all the answers. Call 1-800-ELDER-HELP for free confidential information and support.
It's the VFL Women's Match of the Day.
Indeed, it is the VFL Women's Match of the Day on the VFLW YouTube channel. Peter Holden and Liam Vertigan with you at Arden Street Oval, where the Darebin Falcons, they are 1-1-7, leading North Melbourne yet to score. And Liam, the question is, what can North Melbourne do going to the right of screen? It seems it was the scoring end for Darebin. Is this going to tell the tale of the tape? Or maybe we're just being deceived? Darebin is really turning it on.
Yeah, well, there was certainly no question about North Melbourne's entry inside forward 50. They definitely got it in there enough in that first quarter. They just couldn't find a target or find a mark or a marking opportunity and getting a shot on goal. They had a few free kicks inside their attacking 50, but couldn't get the job done, obviously. For Darebin, they're going all right at the moment. They're being really, really impressive. Callanan and Mifsud are finding a little bit of the ball all over the ground and really proving that that Darebin aren't to be really messed with this year, albeit not really, ladder-wise, being in the top tier at the moment.
And we do have some around-the-ground scores from the game at Icon Park. Now, the game is being played exactly the same time as us between Carlton and Port Melbourne. That game on VFLW YouTube and WARFradio.com. And believe it or not, the Borough, 2-3-15, leading Carlton, 1-1-7.
Yeah, that's big. We love the Borough, men or women, and it's good to see that that result early. We always love a more or less standalone side at the moment before they get their Richmond players back from AFLW go really, really well.
We're just about ready to get underway for the second quarter here at Arden Street Oval on the Rebel VFLW YouTube stream. And once again, to get us underway, here's Liam Vertigan.
Thank you very much, Peter. Umpire raises the ball in the air. North Melbourne to the right of screen, Darebin to the left of screen in their second quarter. And underway, Lynch and McGrath going at it once again. This time, North Melbourne will get the first centre clearance, and they'll bring it out just about to that broadcast side, although getting underneath and taking the mark was Plunkett. Now, Plunkett will have the footy. She'll look to go short. She does. She'll find a teammate this time in Carney. Carney takes the mark just in front of the interchange gates here at Arden Street. Carney takes all of her time. The umpire tells her to go now. She'll be forced to kick down the line. Does so now. Nearly smothered off the boot there by King. And this time it is cut off by Annabelle Scott. Scott just backward of the centre square, nearing the defensive 50 for North Melbourne. Goes for a run. She'll bring it out to the Macaulay Road side. Nearly runs her full measure, and the umpire says you actually have run your full measure. Went way too far, and the free kick will go to Darebin, and it looks like it'll go to Angelica Gogosh.
So Gogosh with the footy. She is about 65 metres out from goal, looking for some options. No doubt the natural lead will be for Mifsud. And she goes high to that hot spot, 40 metres out from goal. Originally went through the hands of McGrath, kicked away with a bit of a grubber by Duffin. Was effective momentarily, going in the direction now of Paterno, who takes the mark. Paterno, originally with the St Kilda Sharks a number of years ago in the VWFL. Decides to centre the football. And the mark being taken there on this occasion.
Got a 50
by the 28 in Perry King. And, well, it was, I think, a 50, but she elected to play on. Maybe she just didn't hear the umpire's call. Going in there is Slaney. The umpire says in the back. And it's the way this time of Carly McNeese for the Falcons. She'll have the ball near the half-back flank.
McNeese will have it. She kicks short, pretty much right in front of us here in the broadcast box. And the mark has been taken by Gunn. Gunn once again. Goes short. This time finds McNeese once again. She plays on there, takes a little bit of a narc. Kicks it to the middle of the ground, a little bit dangerous. There was a good late fist there from Scott. Impeded the mark. Gogos runs in and gets the footy this time. Got a quick kick away. Now, Lawson Tavan will get there first to the footy, although was bumped off it by Morney. Morney picked it up, gave it to Lothinen, and now North Melbourne can try and load up that time through Craven. Craven to about 65 out deep in that near half-forward flank pocket area for North Melbourne, and this time it has gone out of bounds. Macaulay roadside, last touch rule. It'll go the way of the Falcons.
And going to end up with the ball is Angelica Gogos. So she has the footy. She'll look around for some options, and she'll elect to go up the line. Flying through the air there from behind was originally Meyer. It was knocked away from her and ended up being a free kick, I think, in the end of Tess Craven for North Melbourne. And she'll go towards the half-forward flank position. Excellent strong mark taken there by Sarah Skinner. Skinner for North Melbourne. 65 metres out from home, looking for Annabelle Scott as she came inboard. Scott got her off the bounce under pressure. One-step kick inside 50. Good tackle laid on by Gogos. Ball spilled free, picked up by Callanan, who had to get away from Vine. Callanan's kick was looking for Simpson. Wasn't marked by McGrath. Umpire won't pay it. Georgia Nicholas now kicks the ball hurriedly inside 50. Ball came off hands. North will send it back from whence it came. It's a 2-on-1 situation. Gibson was being bumped out of it. Gibson still going. Help without it? Not, said the umpire. He said no, will not pay it. And now the umpire comes in and says it's going the way of the Darebin Falcons and Sally Lynch. Stiff there for Gibson, having to do all the work in that 1-on-2 situation.
Lynch took the kick, little bit of a grubber. It's going to favour Plunkett now, who's in the back pocket. She'll handball back that time to Gunn. Gunn has the footy and will go back to Plunkett, and Plunkett will take the settling mark deep in defence. So she plays on, kicks down the line. So a little bit of a contest there. Doesn't really favour anyone except North Melbourne. King has the football. She'll handball over the top to Duffin. Duffin gets around one. Handballed into a little bit of trouble because it was cut off there by Gogos. Picking up the footy there that time was Scott. Scott's wrapped up by Gogos, who just seems to be everywhere so far early on in this quarter. And the ball should, well, they should have a stoppage here, although the umpires are letting them play, which is good to see. Get to the footy there that time is McKay, the goal kicker. Handball's out. That was a little bit of a high tackle there that time on Meyer. Nothing coming toward. And now the ball is wrapped up right in front of us and in the interchange gates area as we've gone 4.5 minutes in the second quarter. Still a 7-point margin to the Falcons.
Here on the VFLW YouTube channel, the AFL umpire throws the ball up in the air, because you can see it's on his chest. It says umpire AFL, which I find is interesting because you actually umpire Aussie rules, don't you? As it's now going into the hands of Hazlitt, as the umpire says a little bit in the back there, free kick. Hazlitt with the football right in front of our broadcast position. Ooh. And that kick she'd probably want back again. That's a bit of an ordinary one, but nonetheless it worked out okay for Buckley. Intercepted there by Murray, who comes in board. Ball on the ground. Watching it there is Plunkett. Going into later tackle, Callanan. Squeezed out hand pass, Callie Dupaquet. Now Fitzgerald for North Melbourne. Lost control of it. Hazlitt immediately wrapped up. And the umpire says, I'll take the football back. If you've just joined us, Darebin 1-1-7. North Melbourne yet to score. And we've gone 5.5 minutes into this second term at Arden Street Oval. Peter Holden and Liam Vertigan with you. As the kick by Gogos goes along the ground. Trying to soccer it there was Murray. Murray want to go again for North Melbourne. I'll just try and weave through traffic here and come down the central corridor. Annabelle Scott calls for it and gets it. Scott with the football. Took the mark in front of Rudin. Now goes with a long kick, an accurate kick to Annalise Vine. Where do you hear it? On the grapevine. And she now goes inside 50 with the kick. Just a little too much juice on it for Morney. Morney will go in and create the pressure to try and keep the ball inside the North 50. Doing great work there was Slaney, who with the cavalry to hold the football up. Slaney and Morney again working strong there, but finally Meyer for the Darebin Falcons gets a hurried kick. Is that in the back? That was a tough collision. The umpire said, no, it's good solid footy. And Scott will take the resulting handball and go with a long kick inside 50. One bounce over the boundary line. And Liam will have a throw in about 25 metres around for that left-hand point post.
Very handy spot here for North Melbourne. Very lucky that someone got a touch on it, or else that would have been the last touch. Lasso, Darebin could have come away from their deep defensive area. As the ball's back into play now. Throw in favours Lynch. He got about 5 metres in front of the ruckman opponent in McGrath that time. The ball's on about 50 for North Melbourne as Darebin try to get it out once again. Gogos has had a very busy quarter. Has just got the little quick kick away. This time it comes to Paterno. Paterno kicks inside 450. 2-on-2. Doesn't really favour anyone. It comes to the ground. Picking up the ball for North Melbourne that time was Vine. She couldn't get a kick away. And the reinforcements come through for Darebin. And Darebin get out of trouble that time. Flew through Blackwood. And Blackwood finds a target in Mackay. And Darebin can settle just on their defensive 50. McKay kicks down the line. Went through the hands there that time of Duparquet. The ball was hugging the boundary line. Callanan's first to the football. Slides across. And the ball goes over the boundary line right in front of the interchange gates. And we'll have a throw in. 7.5 minutes gone here in the second quarter. It's a 7-point lead to Darebin. 1-1-7. North Melbourne yet to score on the VFLW match of the morning.
So, we'll set ourselves right in front of our broadcast position for the ball to be thrown back in. If you just joined us, Alamura for North Melbourne went off with a suspected injury, went straight into the rooms. Looked quite serious. Wasn't a stretcher, did manage to walk off. Taken away here by Hibbert. will go long, looking for Simpson. Went over ahead. North have got the numbers back there. Morney, made a bit of a meal of it. And the ball is going to be held up there. Hazlitt came in also for the Darebin Falcons. And the umpire says, I'll take the football back, thank you very much. And I'll throw it in the air. I think it was Loftname that got caught with it in the end for that stalemate. Umpire looks for the nominating rucks. And we'll throw the football up in the air once more. Brought to ground. Laying a tackle there is Buckley on Bradley. And once again, we'll have another stalemate at 48 metres out from the Darebin goal, going to left of screen here on the VFLW YouTube. Great that, including with the AFL.com.au game, all the VFLW games are free for you to watch at home, anywhere around the world, in fact. Going in there is Celebri. Now the hurry kick out. Almost going to be intercepted there by Simone Rudin, who was the Bulldogs' best and fairest last year, and then making the jump across here to the Darebin Falcons. Rudin gets it back again. Goes inside 50 with a kick. That was well weighted. And that's Simpson with a hurry kick. It's a bouncing ball, and it just turns to the left and will go through for a minor score. 1-2-8 Darebin. North Melbourne yet to score. And we've gone about 9 minutes into this second term.
Looks like Fitzgerald will take the ball out of full back here for North Melbourne. She'll run to the outer side. Got about 20 metres with the run. Kicks down the line. That was nearly a solid mark in the air taken that time by Scott, but none coming towards North Melbourne. Get a quick kick away. Lawson to Van went in and under. She went for a second effort, got the ball in the hands, but couldn't quite get it away as bodies are tumbling around anywhere. Skinner had the footy for North Melbourne, and the ball won't come out from the bottom of that pack, and we'll have a ball up about halfway through the second quarter. An 8-point margin to Darebin. The ball's back in the air. Tap out one that time by McGrath for North Melbourne, and taken to the ground. Skinner with the footy very, very quickly. And we'll have a secondary ball up. The ball's back into the centre part of the ground. The umpire not wasting any time. The ball's back in the air. Mifsid's now in the ruck for Darebin. She won the tap that time, and a little bit of free space here for North Melbourne. Morney had the handball. She tapped it onto a team out now. Here's trouble for North Melbourne. Kick inside forward 50 once again came from the boot of McKay. And has it been rushed through? It has, through for a behind. North Melbourne happy to concede another behind there. 1-3-9 Darebin. North Melbourne yet to score. 10.5 gone here in the second quarter. What are they going to do here? Are they going to bring the ball out wide? I think they will this time. Playing on out of full back nicely there. Getting every piece of advantage possible. Brings the football to the defensive 50. Darebin inside once again through Gogos. We have a whistle here. And it appears to be a free kick going the way of North Melbourne. And I think we've even got a 25 or 50 metre penalty. No, we don't. Umpire calls time on. North Melbourne now bring the ball down the line. Interchange Gates. Good fist that time came from Duffin. It affected the contest. Picking the ball up there was King. King couldn't get it away, and the umpire will call for it. Ball up on the broadcast side here at Arden Street. Umpire still doesn't waste any time. The ball's back up straight away. That was a clever tap there from Mifsud that time. Straight down to Celebrity. And the ball that time will go out of bounds before Fitzgerald could pick it up, get a kick or handball away, and we'll have another throw in with 11.5 minutes gone. 9-point margin to Darebin. They've more or less dominated the inside 50s today, and they've definitely had the ball locked inside there, half the ground, a little bit more in this second quarter compared to North Melbourne. As the ball is tossed back into play now, Mifsud in the ruck against Lynch. Mifsud played from behind there that time. Sorry, that was McGrath in the ruck for North Melbourne. And Gogos wraps up McDonald. The ball's not going anywhere, and we'll have another ball up. So the umpire brings the ball back up in the air. Mifsud got the tap down that time. Skinner got the ball for North Melbourne. Can North Melbourne get a little bit of free air? They're trying to, but Uparquay had the footy there. She was wrapped up in a great tackle there by Craven. But no reward. Another stoppage as the ball's about 70 out from the Darebin goal.
So we go again with Mifsud. Hand pass to Hazlitt, who got caught immediately. And the umpire says that's holding the football. And once again, it will be a free kick going the way of the Kangaroos. Just looking around for some options here with Hazlitt. And she goes back to Duffin. Duffin deep in defence. Goes for the little switch across. Got to be accurate, and she is. She's taking on the player there and going for a run. Hannah Ibrahim. Now it goes out towards the half-back flank on the Cooley Road side of the ground. Ellie McDonald takes it, and guess what? A 50-metre penalty. So this is handy for North. Can they make something of this and get their first score on the board with 6.5 minutes remaining in this second term? The kick by McDonald goes towards the half-forward flank. It's going to have to be picked up off the ground. Millie Sean was trying to do the pressure work on Skinner, who kicks it inside 50. Ball dribbles at the feet. Who can try and pick it up cleanly? First person getting to it there was Craven, immediately besieged upon. Darebin with numbers in defence. And the kick is launched away by Mifsud out towards the half-back flank position, looking for Callie Tupake. Got knocked away from her. McDonald kicked it off the ground, looks for the 1-2. That's clever football from the 50. Gibson wanted to launch, just went prematurely, misjudged the flight. And a mark there for Mifsud for the Darebin Falcons, and she'll find safety in Nicole Callanan.
Callanan now deep in defence here for Darebin. She's telling her teammates to move for her. She kicks the ball down the line. I think she's got a little bit of contact downfield and will keep going the way of Darebin. And the kick taken downfield will be taken by McKay. Callanan more or less ran beside her for support. She actually might get it here still, Callanan, because no one's got her at the moment. Either way, McKay's told to go. Kick down the line. Duffin sat. Oh, great mark from Duffin. Do you expect anything less from her? Duffin to the middle of the ground. That's a good kick mark taken there that time. They'll kick inside 450. That was taken by Lothinen, and there is no one there for North Melbourne, unfortunately, and it's cut off once again by the Falcons. They'll go short. Mark taken there by Blackwood. Blackwood plays on. That's a bit of a dangerous ball. Bounced in front of Paterno. She couldn't grab it. McGrath was in there for North Melbourne. Throwing the body around now is Ibrahim. And now to come out, North Melbourne. Can they get a chance inside 450? They've gone inside. But once again, the ball just can't find anyone there. And Darebin come away through Carney. Carney kicks it away, and the mark's been taken by McKay. McKay has the footy. Once again, kick down the line. That's a nice pass. Throwing the body in there early was Buckley, it looked like. Now the ball comes away from Hazlitt. Gains about 15 or 20 metres. Getting their hands on it was McGrath. This time it was picked up by Skinner. Skinner inside 450, and once again, cut off by this very busy woman in Gogos.
So Angelica Gogos with the footy. Looked immediately to her left, then hesitated and said, I'll just go up the line instead. Managed to find Rachel Hibbert. So Hibbert with the footy. She's considering her options. She decides to go short. Off the bounce, Buckley has to take it. Then goes sky high with a kick, really hoping for the best, and there really was nothing on. Easy mark there for the Roos. And taking it is Loughnane. Lisa Loughnane now goes to Skinner. Sarah Skinner with the footy. 4 minutes remaining in the quarter. Goes to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald draws the play, goes the hand pass. Murray going up the line. Awkward bounce there for Perry King. Staying in board. Blackwood put her head over the footy. Plenty of North numbers there. Trying to kick around the corner is Craven. Managed to keep it inside momentarily, only for the Darebin Falcons to send it back from whence it came. Might have ping-pong footy here because Fitzgerald really swallowed it. Lost control of it. Lawson Tavern now takes it for the Darebin Falcons. Puts it in board. But taking it back is Ibrahim. Was looking for the flight of Slaney, missed her. Callanan gets back there for Darebin, lost it like the ball was a piece of soap. And it's almost stacks in the pill here at the moment. But it just managed to see the Darebin players keep their feet instead of going to ground. Guess who flew through the air? Jess Duffin says, there might be 6 players jumping for this, but I'm going to read it best. And Jess Duffin waits patiently. Floats it just a little too much over the head there of Brooke Slaney. Slaney under all kinds of pressure from Gogos. Got it across to Buckley. Buckley is harassed. Gets the hand pass over to Lawson Tavern. Lawson Tavern is brought to ground. Hibbert draws the play. Goes the hand pass. Callanan could almost get hit from the side. Got the kick away in the nick of time. Duffin again.
Very, very good there from Duffin. Third intercept mark of the quarter. She kicks it short and finds Scott. Now this is where they got to find a mark inside 450. They're loading up quite well here, North Melbourne. That kick came from Ibrahim. This time it's been marked about 45 out, but now they've got to reset and try and go from here. Now, I think it's Nicholas with the footy. She plays on, gets as much meterage as she can. They need a mark here. They won't get it. Goes through a few sets of hands. Craven's the first of the footy. She handballs over the top. It's intercepted there that time by Rudin. And now Darebin come away once again, and once again intercepted by North Melbourne, and this time it's Brooke Slaney with the ball. The opponent on the mark's about 47 out from goals. A few leads coming from the pocket. Should go to as probably the top of the square, but it's cut off once again. And this time it is marked by, appears to be, it looks like Mifsud down there. It is. She'll kick short. She told her teammates to slow down. That's not 15, said the umpire. Callanan has the footy. They've got a few players out here, and it appears that the Falcons are going to bring the ball out to the Macaulay Road side.
And that's what they do. Half-back flank as the mark's taken. And on this occasion, it was by McAloon. Her kick, though, was looking for Simpson. Missed out on her, but they still managed to just knock it a good 10 metres forward. Carly Dupaquet. Remember the hand pass. Barkley in there. Under pressure. Now coming through for North. Looks like Loughnane. Immediately wrapped up. And the umpire says, I'll take the football back, please. Just over a minute remaining in this first half. Darebin 1-3-9. North Melbourne yet to score. The other game on at the moment, we'll give you some scores at half-time, is Carlton and Port Melbourne at Icon Park. Also on VFLW YouTube and WAFradio.com. Going up the line, an intercept mark here is Bradley for North Melbourne. Got to get going to beat the clock, beat the siren. Kicks it towards centre half forward. Picking up off the carpet is Craven. Who's she kicking to is the question. Well, it bounced towards the fortune there of Britt Gibson. Had the ball smothered out of her hands. She tried to get the hand pass away. Now the kick around the corner by Georgia. Nicholas did the bounce and hit the woodwork. Minus score. But North's first score, surprisingly, for the half. North Melbourne, one behind. Darebin 1-3-9.
Thank you, Peter. 8-point lead to the Falcons. 25 seconds ago. They'll just look to hold up here as long as they can. McNeese has the footy. She kicks it out of full back. Could be cut off here. Just went past the hands of Skinner. It's about 60 out from goal. North Melbourne probably the only team that can score here. But now it's just on the edge of the centre square. Oh, here we go. They could have one last roll of the dice. Skinner kicks inside forward 50. Will they get a mark? No! Although the umpire will pay a nice mark. Good intercept there. Threw the body in there. And that should be it. Siren's about to go, and there it is. It was Lawson Tavern who threw the body in and took the mark. And that's half-time. Darebin are 1-3-9. North Melbourne are one behind. And you would think, Peter, that North Melbourne could probably count themselves a little bit lucky that they're only 8 points down, given the opportunities that both sides have had. That North Melbourne would be ruining a few of those inside 50s they've had, just not being able to find targets inside.
I think the frustrating thing is you've got Gibson there, who's probably playing an arc about 25 out from goal and no more. And the delivery that comes to her seems to be too shallow. It's just not getting the distance. It's not getting with full force to try and hit her on the chest and not give their opponent any chance. That ball's being short. If Darebin, which they're doing at times, are double teaming her, it's allowing the player in front to easily get position. Or the one time when Gibson flew, she kind of misread it. The ball was just a little too deep. But I said, on every other occasion, the ball for North Melbourne's a bit shallow inside 50. There's no real space, purpose, and good execution to allow Gibson to have a good time run to hit her. Because you know, as soon as she gets it on the set shot, she's going to be money for North.
Yeah, exactly right. But we're not going to take anything away from Darebin. They've been really impressive. Gogos and Callanan, the AFLW duo from the past, have been really, really good.
They've been in everything. They've just been, you watch their legs, it's just going and going and going. They jump on every football. They are desperate. The question is, can they keep it going? This is what will shine out in the second half. You've got a couple of North players, AFLW listed players, who've got the class. Does desperation hold on against the class? Does class live up to expectation?
Exactly right. Well, it's going to be a very interesting second half nonetheless. It's half-time. Darebin are 1-3-9, and they are leading North Melbourne, who are on one behind.
Only goal kicker so far is Emma McKay for the Darebin Falcons. We'll take this opportunity to take a break, and we'll return shortly.
Something stolen.
Or if you've had property damaged, you need the police, not the sirens. If you've lost something or found something valuable.
Or if you want to register a party or let us know you're going away on holiday, you need the police, not the sirens.
When you need the police, but not the sirens, you can now report these incidents online at police.vic.gov.au or call 131 444.
Authorised by the Victorian Government, Melbourne.
Hi, Kirk Pengilly from In Excess here. And whether it's music, sweet things, puppies, movies, we all love our treats. But our eyes need treating too. 300,000 Australians, including me, are affected by glaucoma. Diagnosed early, glaucoma can be managed. Left undiagnosed, it can cause blindness. So treat yourself by treating your eyes to a simple test. Book your test at treatyoureyes.org.au today.
We are the Australian Literacy and Numeracy Foundation, striving to empower our most marginalised communities through literacy and education. Literacy is having a voice. Literacy is opportunity. Literacy is dreaming big. Literacy is freedom. Today, you can help end inequality and give every child access to our life-changing and proven literacy programs. Your support is vital. Donate now at alnf.org.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Lowe, long jump gold medalist and world record holder. When I was 15, I was waiting to catch my train. In a split second, my life changed. As the train arrived, the crowd surged forward. I was too close to the platform edge, lost my balance, and fell into the path of the oncoming train. I was in a coma for 2 weeks, and it took 2 years to walk again. So please, stand back, look up, and stay rail safe.
No matter what your age, most of us played sport when we were young, and there was always one thing that made you want to disappear into the corner or even give up your chosen sport. And that was when somebody on the sideline hurled abuse at either you or a teammate or an official. These are things that make sport so painful for so many kids, and the time has come to stop it. I'm Usman Khawaja from the Australian cricket team. My message is a simple one. Let kids be kids. Let them enjoy their sport. Find out more at playbytherules.net.au.
Stroke can happen to anybody at any age. The best way to help someone is to learn the signs of stroke and know how to act fast. F is for face. Has their face drooped? A is for arms. Can they lift both arms? S is for speech. Is their speech slurred? Do they understand you? T is for time. Call 000. Time is critical. If you see any of these symptoms, act fast. Learn the signs of stroke and you could save a life. Go to strokefoundation.org.au/fast to find out more.
We'd like to show you what's dangerous about Australian rivers, but we can't. You can't see ice-cold water, snags like tree branches or strong currents, but they can be lethal. Although our rivers are beautiful, more Australians drown here than anywhere else. So please, wear a life jacket, avoid alcohol around water, never swim alone, and learn how to save a life. It's simple. Respect the river. For more information, visit royallifesaving.com.au/respect the river.
If you're after the most comprehensive coverage on women's football across Australia, then look no further than Rookie Me Central. Formerly Draft Central, Rookie Me Central has news and reviews, podcasts, videos, and much, much more on all the state leagues across the country, including the VFL Women's and NAB League Girls. Find out why everyone turns to Rookie Me Central for their women's football content. Follow Rookie Me Central on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at Rookie Me Central.
No business wants to throw money away. But did you know sending resources to landfill can be more expensive than recycling them? Planet Ark's free business recycling service can kickstart your workplace recycling journey, help you find the right recycling solutions and give you a competitive edge. Join the 1 million Australians using business recycling to keep valuable resources in circulation. Visit businessrecycling.com.au. It's just good business.
Even when everything is going great, the black dog of depression can sneak up on you. You're not alone. 1 in 7 Australians are feeling just like you. But there is hope available. The Black Dog Institute provides information on diagnosis, treatment and prevention of mental illnesses like depression, bipolar disorder and anxiety. If the black dog is hounding you, visit blackdoginstitute.org.au for real help and support. Black Dog Institute, putting health in mind.
There are plenty of classic hits radio stations, but this is where GoRadio.live is different. We unashamedly select the best music from our chosen era. We develop programs that provide the music with minimal interruption. For many hours of the day, you won't hear any announcers, just great music and the occasional station ID. We let the music play through until the end, no crossfades and no announcers talking over the start and end of tracks. We think you're going to love GoRadio.live, radio as it should be. Check it out at www.goradio.live or download the free app from Google Play or the App Store.
69. The number of cancer-causing chemicals in tobacco smoke. 16. The number of places in your body that smoking causes cancer, including the bladder, bowel, liver, and pancreas. 1 in 5. The number of all cancers caused by smoking. 1. the number of clear ways you have to reduce your risk if you're a smoker. Call Quitline 137848 or go to quit.org.au.
Storms are Australia's most costly natural disaster. Getting prepared now is the best way to protect people and to minimise damage to your property. Keep your gutters, downpipes and drains clear and stash any loose items in yards or on balconies. Trim any trees and branches hanging too close to your house and keep your roof in good repair. For emergency help, call the SES on 132 500.
It's women's Aussie rules. They're doing what they love. They're fast, they're tough. Don't mess with them because they can get rough. Are you ready for the challenge? Are you ready for the match? It's the call of the game. It's the VFL Women's Match of the Day. It's the VFL Women's Match of the Day.
And welcome back to Arden Street Oval in North Melbourne for the VFL Women's Match of the Day here on YouTube. Darebin 139 leading North Melbourne, one behind. It is all North Melbourne's work to do. I mean, we make it sound like it's a big lead. It's only 8 points in the end, but North Melbourne, despite all their work, haven't looked like kicking a goal.
Yeah, well, we've already mentioned, they've had a heap of the ball go inside their forward 50, but they just haven't had anyone there or around the footy to take the mark or get those crumbing sort of balls and get the score on the board. They are by no means out of the game. I still think that something can happen here, and I've got the feeling that something will happen. But as I said, don't discount what Darebin's done early. They've been magnificent and they've been everywhere.
Got an around the ground score, by the way, from Icon Park. You can also watch that on the VFLW YouTube channel and also listen to it on WARFradio.com. Port Melbourne, 3-8-26 lead. Carlton, 1-3-9.
Gee, that is a very handy lead. Is that a half-time score?
That's a half-time score. And goal kickers so far for Port, Harley, Reid and Stutt. Hammond's the only goal kicker for Carlton in that game. And looking at the stats, McDonald, which I think is a Richmond-listed player with Port Melbourne, has got 13 disposals. Hootsma's got 10. O'Keefe's got 10 for Carlton. Thornycroft with 10 and Gurr with 9. But they were adding some experience back in with Diet coming back in for Port Melbourne. And it looks like the experience they badly need is paying off for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's good to see as well that Port Melbourne are getting a little bit of reward for obviously good effort. Have they kicked 4-2 or is it 3-8 they've got?
I'll just check that again. That is 3-8.
Yeah, they probably should be even further in front, you would think. But nonetheless, a very handy half-time score there for the Borough.
By the way, let's have a look at player stats coming out of this game at the moment as the North Melbourne team run out onto the park. Leading the disposals at the moment for North, Annabelle Scott with 13 disposals, 11 each for Jess Duffin and Sarah Skinner. Ali McDonald with 10 disposals, 9 with Craven. For the Darebin Falcons, Nicole Callanan, we've been calling her name a lot. She's got 10 disposals so far. Angelica Gokos, 9 touches, 8 touches for Mifsud, 7 each for Blackwood, Buckley and McKay. If we go to the team stats, possession at the moment, 55-45, North Melbourne leading on the possession count at the moment. Kicks, only one separates it, North Melbourne leading 87-86. North's had 46 handballs compared to 27 handballs for Darebin. Marks at 29 each. Tackles almost even. North 28, Darebin 31. Hit-outs 18-16, North's favours. Inside 50s, North 23, Darebin 10. Rebound 50s, Darebin 22, North 9. But North, you're not going to be happy to have 1 point on the board and you've got double the amount of inside 50s of Darebin.
Yeah, that's a killer. It really is. You're on track for over 40 inside 50s. They'll probably get a heap even in this second half alone. So we've got to keep an eye on that inside 50 stat. Jess Duffin, we touched on, she took 3 intercept marks in that second quarter, all within about 2 or 3 minutes of each other. She's been very, very good. Might be lifting a few eyebrows maybe, as we've already said, for potential AFLW selection going into round 10. And for Darebin, Gogos, Callanan and Mifsud, obviously, you said the 3 best players on the ground for them at the moment, all 3 former AFLW players. So it shows that they've still got the class to potentially even play at the level still.
We might take this opportunity to take another quick break. We'll return in just a moment's time here on the VFLW YouTube stream. You're listening.
Feeling a little down? Drop into the Reach Out website at reachout.com.au and let us put a spring back in your step. When times are tough, clear your head at reachout.com.au.
Hi, Kirk Pengilly from InXS here. And whether it's music, sweet things, puppies, movies, we all love our treats. But our eyes need treating too. 300,000 Australians, including me, are affected by glaucoma. Diagnosed early, glaucoma can be managed. Left undiagnosed, it can cause blindness. So treat yourself by treating your eyes to a simple test. Book your test at treatyoureyes.org.au today.
Get back to work. But I am working.
What, on your latest Instagram post?
I'm lodging a free dial before you dig inquiry online.
Visit 1100.com.au to use this free service or call 1100 during business hours.
The Darebin Falcons side back out on the ground here at Arden Street Oval. We're not too far away from a start here in the third term. And of course, don't forget, we have got more VFLW games for you next weekend. All games bar one live streamed on the YouTube channel. The game that is on afl.com.au will be the Bulldogs versus Hawthorn. Hawthorn beating last year's minor premiers yesterday, while the Doggies will be looking for their first win of the year. As we said, that's on afl.com.au. All the other games next week live on YouTube. And I know Liam might be heading down there. You might see him. He might be signing autographs down at Whitten Oval, 1:10 p.m. If you're a North Melbourne supporter, you've just jumped online, Liam. The great news is free entry because that game got moved. Lions of North Melbourne at Whitten Oval in Footscray, 1:10 this afternoon, free entry.
Yep, plenty of time to finish up here and then race down to the Whitten Oval. Potentially, I wouldn't mind watching it, as I said. Would be a cracking game of footy nonetheless, but still got a half to go here, Peter.
And just quietly, it might turn out to be the game of the round in the AFLW.
Well, obviously, we had the absolute blowout of Melbourne and Fremantle last night. The Doggies over the top of the West Coast, and the Cats going down to St Kilda, obviously, as well yesterday, and Richmond beating the GWS in a bit of an upset.
So I wonder how it's going to play out. North and the Lions, that seems intriguing. As said, you can watch it on TV, or again, free entry down at Whitten Oval if you want to go down and check that out this afternoon. Meanwhile, the umpires got the ball back in the middle of the ground. At half-time, Darebin went in with a lead, 1-3-9 to North's 1 behind. Can Darebin hold on to that slender lead, or is North Melbourne, have they got a roast at half-time? Are they going to turn it on? To get us underway for the third term, here's Liam Vertigan.
Well, you could certainly hear them downstairs in the rooms at half-time, the North Melbourne side. We're underway here in the second half. Same ruckman go at it again. It was Lynch that time for Darebin who got the tap down, and the ball's maybe gone about 1.5 metres from where the ball took off, and we'll have a secondary ball up. Lynch once again with McGrath in the ruck. No one could grab it. Trying to go in and get the footy was Scott for North Melbourne. There's about 6 trying to get the footy out here. No one's going to get it out, and we're going to have another stoppage. About half a minute gone here in the third quarter. Once again, ball in the air. McGrath, got the ruck tap down that time. A little bit of meterage gain. Rolling around with the footy in her hand was Carney. Carney got it out, although only to a North Melbourne player. This time it was picked up by Meyer. Darebin will go forward. Trying to go back with a little bit of a fist there was McGrath. The ruckman doing everything at the moment. North Melbourne get a clearing kick out of their defensive 50, and it lands that time nicely in the chest of Paterno. So Paterno has the footy. Defensive side of the centre square here for North Melbourne. Which side is she going to bring it down to? She'll go down the highway of sorts through that centre square side area. Getting to the football there was Cowley du Parquet. She handballs over the top to Buckley. Buckley tried to spin out of trouble, but only got into a little bit more trouble, but got the kick away nicely, and the mark there taken by Lynch. Lynch now right on that Macaulay Road side, far side of the ground, puts it out in front of her teammate Rudin, and she takes the mark. Now they're about 80 metres out from home. This next kick's important because if they go inside forward 50, they can be very, very dangerous from there. The kick's all right, but it's going to find a North Melbourne player, and the mark has been taken that time by Scott. Scott goes to that woman in Duffin in the long sleeves. There's disposal number 12. The kick is a good one too, and finds a teammate in Murley. She plays on, wheels around a little bit, kicks inside the interchange bench. It favours her teammate a little bit. Skinner will run onto the ball. She got the kind bounce. She does a little bit of a 360 to go forwards. Lawson Tavan gave her a little bit of late treatment as well. That's nearly holding the ball, but got the boot away. Ibrahim goes in to put a tackle on. So does her teammate in the Maleekness. Might have to fix me up on that.
Malnikas.
Thank you very much, Peter. Still getting used to some of the names here. Umpire calls for the ball. About 75-80 out from the North Melbourne goal. Kicks to the left of screen.
As I said, we need a VFLW version of that AFLW video that Lucy Watkin arranged for, where all the pronunciations were done by the players themselves. So as fans and commentators alike, we can make sure we give them the proper respect and get their names 100% right. As the kick around the corner by Murray didn't go too far. She'll have to go back in and get her own footy, and that's what she does. Fires out the quick hand pass. King got knocked off the ball, but managed to get boots a ball as she kicked towards centre half forward position. Craven came in, immediately dispossessed of the football. King says, get out of my way. She tried to shove it, a player over, but picking it up there's McKay for Darebin. Well-weighted kick as it goes over the top, maybe for McAloon to try and run onto. Had to go back and get it again and turn McDonald inside out. Now comes inboard and manages to spot up a teammate here in Gogos. Gogos now kicks it and finds the target in Michaelia Meyer. Meyer with a footy. Gets on the right boot, going towards the half-forward play position. Up and read it well best. Oh, the timing on that was exquisite. It was beautiful. And she goes up the line and manages to spot up Paterno. So Emily Paterno has Duffin calling for it. Ignores her and goes the opposite direction to the right-hand side and finds Annabelle Scott. Scott with a footy. Players screaming for her, or maybe a little too close for comfort. She needs something long and down the line. Here comes Gibson. Stuck in her hands and then popped out. Now Cullinan goes sky high with the kick. Little nudge underneath it. The umpire says big nudge underneath it. And that means a resulting free kick going the way of the Darebin Falcons. And it looks like ending up with it, if I can see correctly, Michaelia Meyer.
Yeah, it is Meyer. That's correct, Peter. She'll take the free kick in front of the North Melbourne interchange. Yeah, it's interesting to note that was Duffin's fourth intercept mark in the last probably 10 minutes of play we've had this afternoon. Anyway, Maleekness. Oh, God, I've done it again. Malnikas takes the mark. She plays on, kicks to the middle of the ground. It was a good kick too, and taking the mark there that time was Skinner. Skinner plays on. Now they're inside 50. It's a one-on-one. This could be a chance for North Melbourne to score. Running onto the ball this time is Vine. She gets it. Kicks to the top of the square. Will it come off? No, it won't. Although Vine runs on and gets it again. Kick is snapped around. Kicks a goal. I might just have to double-check who that was. Not 100% sure, to be actually honest with you. But nonetheless, North Melbourne are on the board. And they are 1-1-7. Darebin are 1-3-9. And there's some final reward for some magnificent effort from North Melbourne so far this morning. It's a 2-point margin to Darebin. 1-3-9 to 1-1-7. 5 minutes gone, third quarter. Peter.
And just checking that for you, Champion Data says Jess Morney kicked that goal. So Jess Morney wearing the number, once I just see that come up on my sheet, number 2. That's her first goal of the afternoon. Jess Morney now brings it to a 2-point ball game. Great that this year, for the first time, we've actually got live Champion Data stats for the VFLW. So if you download the VFL app at home, you click on the game, you can follow along the live stats as we go for all the tackles, all the possessions, and just then, all the goals. So, on the deck, Cullinan laid a tackle. Gogos got wrapped up, ball spilled out. Hurried little kick off the carpet. Just overrunning it, it was Millie Shon. We'll have to go back again. Coming in to lay the tackle is Murray. The umpire says, I'll take the football back and I'll have a ball up, thanks. Near centre wing, broadcast side of the ground. 6 minutes gone here in the third term on the VFLW YouTube stream. Up there it goes again. One out there by McGrath. And all wrapped up. Good tackle laid on there by Brooke Slaney. And the player wrapped up on that occasion was Alan Buckley. So the umpire will start it again for Lynch versus McGrath. McGrath wins it down. Annabelle Scott does the tackle work. Let's see if that local footy theory works out here, Liam, and if they will pull the free kick out and see who gets the raffle ticket.
3 stoppages in a row, Peter. I'm telling you, it's coming.
Umpire throws the ball up in the air. Away we go again. One out there by Lynch. Now to Cullinan, who goes around and around and around. Managing it out to Simpson, though. No, throwing the football. There's your raffle ticket. And that is going the way of Brooke Slaney. And Slaney will take it for North Melbourne. Draws the player. Goes with a dangerous kick towards centre wing. There was to no advantage whatsoever. Now, that'll be a lasso free kick against Buckley because Buckley hand-passed it, missed her opponent, and it's for both kicks and handballs, that last disposal rule. And that means, it's going to be Ellie McDonald. The umpire says no, Annabelle Scott must take it.
So Scott will take the lasso free kick. She uses a bit of an arc, plays on down the line. It's a nice kick too. Just went through the hands of Skinner there that time, although she butters up and goes in there again. Pops out the back here for Darebin, although North Melbourne have some numbers around the footy. Scott's there again. Skinner is also in there. Lawson Tavan is there as well. And laying the tackle there that time was Cowley Duparquet. We're going to have a ball up right in front of us here on the broadcast side here at Arden Street.
Right eye in the air and away we go again. A little bit of pushing and shoving, maybe a little holding of the jumper there of Mifsud by Bradley. Umpire missed that and we'll go over the boundary line and out of bounds. Right in front of our camera position. And taking the football back, the umpire from Steph Simpson, the Darebin captain. Umpire just checks everything's okay behind him and we'll throw the football back into play. Spinning back in, Bradley versus Mifsud once more. Went over the head of both of them. Hand pass now received by Gogos. Gogos shoved off the footy at the crucial moment. Ashley Gunn chasing after it. The ball's almost running away from her while under pressure from Craven. Gogos receives. Put on the right boot. Awkward kick off the boot. It's high. Bradley parked underneath it. Simpson went with her. Mifsud there. Simpson tried to squeeze the handball out. Bradley once again. Hand pass to Ibrahim. Ibrahim in towards the centre of the ground. Callanan is going down, and the umpire says no prior opportunity. And we'll call for a ball up between centre and centre half forward for the Kangaroos.
So the ball will be tossed back up. Mifsud's now gone into the ruck. I suppose that's a beauty of having a player that can roll forward and roll down into the ruck, or up into the ruck, I should say, as well. She's probably having a little bit of a spell is the other ruckman, Sally Lynch, although a free kick is now going the way of Darebin, and it will be going to, appears to be, Gogos. She plays on, kicks backward of the forward, or the centre square I should say. Dropping the mark at an opportune time there was Hibbert, and Duffin wraps her up straight away and the umpire will call for it and we'll have a ball up. So still a 2-point lead to Darebin, just about halfway through this third quarter. Darebin would love a settling goal here. Mifsud has a superiority that time against Bradley. She kicked forward and the mark is taken by Hibbert. Now they'll go inside forward 50 here, Darebin. Can they find a target? No, not quite. Falls just short. Picking up the ball that time was Callanan, and actually it looked to be a high fend-off actually, and the free kick is going to go to that woman again, Jess Duffin. Disposal number 13, I believe, along with 4 intercept marks and a few tackles today. So a pretty good day out so far for the dual athlete. She's called to go now. Kick is short, and the mark is taken by Kiara Fitzgerald. So Fitzgerald will kick down the line. Who can mark? Goes through the pair of them. Mifsud was out the back. Lawson Tavern has the footy. She kicks back towards the middle of the ground to a genuine one-on-one. Went through the hands of Plunkett for Darebin. Trying to pick up the football was Morney. She probably could have had the chance to have a free kick, being caught without the football there, but none coming forward. Lawson Tavan just goes through, intercepted, got the quick kick away. Duffin is there again, got the tackle there that time, and Cowley Duparquet. She'll get the footy again, but no, once again, another free kick to that woman in Duffin.
Duffin with a football at half-back flank, broadcast side of the ground. Says, hey, I need some options. And then says, look, let's just go down the line. Pumps it down the line. Ball bouncing. Darebin can let the ball go out here, and that's what they do. They kind of shepherd it out, get that last disposal rule, and that is Mifsud with the footy. Mifsud looking further afield for options. Umpire will give her the hurry up shortly. Now on the right. Right in front of our broadcast spot as the ball falls. Immediately caught by Hazlitt. She's wrapped up by McDonald. And the umpire will take the football back. We've got just under 9 minutes remaining in this third term. Darren lead by 2 points, 139 to 117. Working the way through the Annabelle Scott. Gave it across to Slaney. The umpire says no, it's got to come back. Free kick the way of the Darebin Falcons to Mifsud. So Alyssa Mifsud, who ideally would want to be on the forward line trying to receive this, finds herself between centre wing and the half-forward flank. She goes on the right boot to the paint. Gets punched away there. Ball hit the ground. Getting the hurry kick while under pressure there, Celebri. And guess who's back in defence? One Jess Duffin.
Duffin again, that would be the 5th mark inside her defensive 50 today. She kicks to the outer side. Mark is taken here by Loughnane. Loughnane plays on. Kicks to that outer side. It'll favour her teammate that time in Skinner. Skinner took the mark, played on, went for a little run. Kicks down the line. This time the mark is taken by Scott. Scott plays on straight away. This is good footy here from North Melbourne, but unfortunately comes unstuck, and the mark has been intercepted by Blackwood for Darebin. Blackwood towards the middle of the ground. It just skittles a couple of players there, and it falls out the back for Darebin. It'll favour them, but Skinner, once again, intercepts it. They'll go inside forward 50 just here, North Melbourne, but there's no one there at the fall of the ball. There's two Falcons there. Will it favour them? But throwing her body in that time was Nicholas to keep the ball inside the forward 50, and now the cavalry will arrive. The umpire will call for a stoppage, and it's in a very dangerous spot for North Melbourne.
So can North hit the front for the first time today? This may be their opportunity. As it's thrown up in the air and away we go again. One out by Lynch, taken immediately off the pack by Annabelle Scott, who kind of goes backwards to go forwards, if that makes sense, looking for Duffin because she felt she couldn't snap around the corner. Duffin got pushed to ground. Sean Hurry, pardon me, that was Celebrity, got the hurry kick away there for the Darebin Falcons. Looking for Mifsud. Find it out to Hazlitt, is caught straight away. And the umpire says no opportunity. A little question asked there, I think, by Loughnane and Duffin, saying, well, come on. And the umpire said, well, since she got it, you immediately wrapped her up. Yeah, winning the tap out there is McGrath for the Kangaroos. Hazlitt, hands and knees again. Gets rolled over. This time the umpire says holding the football. Free kick to the Kangaroos. And it ends up with Kayla Murray. Kayla Murray with a footy on the right boot, working wide. Mark possibly should have been swallowed. As Georgia Nicholas had to go after it again. Duffin tried to hold back the player, but they got the kick away in Simpson. Simpson again runs it down, smothers Loughnane. Excellent football, and she had a bit of space. The hand pass to her wasn't all that flash. Originally had nothing inside 50. Now it works out okay. Laying the tackle there is Emma McKay, holding up McDonald. Umpire says play on as the ball spilled out. Plunkett came in for a bit of a bump. Another tackle laid on. Just a couple of metres out from the behind line. The umpire says this one is in the back. And a free kick for North Melbourne, and they'll try and relieve the pressure.
Oh, gee, they have to relieve the pressure here because they are being absolutely hounded anywhere they go with the footy. Loughnane goes short, although it's not the best kick. Get to the footy was McKay. To the top of the square, fisting away to try and get an advantage once again was Loughnane. It's about 20 out from the Darebin goal. They've got to be really careful here. Slaney's throwing the body around for North Melbourne. And there's going to be a stoppage about 15, 20 metres out from the Darebin goal. Kicking to the right of screen. The city end of the ground here at Arden Street Oval. Umpire wastes no time to get the ball back in the air. Grubbing it out of the ruck was Mifsud. She tries to snap it around the body. The umpire says play on. It doesn't go on the 15. Callanan got hands to it. And now Duffin gets a kick away. Bounces just in front of her teammate and Skinner, but it favoured her quite nicely because she was able to pick it up. And now it's a 2-on-2 foot race between Gibson and Blackwood. It just favours North Melbourne a little bit. They could have been out if that handball was just a little bit better. Well, actually, it wasn't a handball. The umpire's called it a throw. And it will come back to Darebin, and it'll be taken by McNeese on the outer side.
And elects to go with a kick. Coming in board to the number 24 and Sally Lynch. Under pressure. Now goes to Rudin. Simone Rudin, centre half back. Now pops it high and wide for Meyer. He'll take a mark. Meyer wants to try and calm things down, and she'll go up the line. Was trying to look for Celebrity. Knocked out of her hands. Taken originally by Skinner. Go up the hand pass. The kick towards the half-forward flank position. Numbers back there with the Falcons. Bit of a grubber one, though. Buckley comes in, picks it up. Goes high, high, high in the air, but the mark intercepted by Vienna McDonald. Quickly around the grounds. 16 minutes gone third term. Carlton 2-4-16. Trail Port Melbourne 3-10-28. That's at Icon Park. It's also on the VFLW YouTube channel. Up the line, pushed off the football. There is Slaney. But still the advantage to North. Craven gets run down, and the umpire says that's holding the football. And Naomi Celebrity, you may have a free kick from the half-back flank broadcast side.
Great tackle it was too. And reward for effort as well. Kick is down the line. Two North Melbourne players spoilt each other, but the mark has been taken by Bradley. Bradley in front of her interchange gate. for North Melbourne. Looks for a teammate to make a move. She plays on now and charging in from the side was Hibbert to try and affect the kick. None coming toward. It's about 60 out from the North Melbourne goal, and they'll have a chance to go inside forward 50. This is where they've been falling over a little bit today. They need to find a target here, and this time the free kick will be taken by Paterno. Now, what's on for North? A little bit. She goes to the outer side. It's going to go out the back. It looks like Nicholas has to run onto the football. Won't do so, unfortunately, this time, and Darebin will come out to the Macaulay Road side once again. 2-on-2 here, doesn't really favour either team. Well, the umpire's found a free kick again, this time to go the way of Darebin. Now, what can they do here? With 2.5 minutes to go, a goal here would be incredibly handy. They're just waiting for their own teammates to go forward here, as every player is on that side of the ground now. They play on now, bring the ball back towards the middle. A few North Melbourne players were there. Lawson Tabin had her body throwing around in there. Craven got the quick kick forward, and unfortunately it's been cut off by Falcon, and they'll go forward once again with 2 minutes to go. So it's Callanan who had the ball. She kicks down the line. The mark's been taken there by Hazlitt, it appears. She plays on. Kicks to about 55 out from goal. It bounces in front of Simpson. Simpson's got to run onto it. She does so. Handball's away, but she's taken too high, and she'll get a free kick. Now it's Darebin's turn to go inside forward 50. She plays on, gets around the opponent on a mark, pumps it inside forward 50, but it's about a 4-on-1 there. Didn't favour the Falcons at all, and the mark's been taken by Morney.
Morney with the football, deep in defence for the Kangaroos. Minute and a half remaining in the third term. You're on the VFLW YouTube stream. Morney elects to go and work it towards the right, the Macaulay Road side of the ground, but it'll be sent back from whence it came. Under pressure, Simpson, maybe one high. The umpire missed it, I think, as he turned. And came in and said holding the football instead. And it's Buckley on the ground. It's probably feeling a little worse for wear. And the umpire's going to blow the whistle here, because I know she went to ground in pain. And the umpire stopped the clock at 1 minute and 3 seconds remaining in the quarter. And as we said, we've already seen one injury today, Alamura for North Melbourne in that first term. We were worried that it was a left leg injury, and she hobbled off the ground with the support of the trainers. And here, getting up, Alan Buckley, he's got a laugh on her face going, she was probably thinking maybe I got winded or something like that, or really I wasn't really, hurt too much. And out of all of that, a 50-metre penalty. Intriguing. So 50-metre penalty for North Melbourne. Now taken away here by Craven. It goes towards their half-forward flank, now half-back flank, because the numbers are here with Buckley for the Darebin Falcons. She got turned over, and that was Perry King who brought it to ground. The umpire says, no dice, I'll take the football back. And got a little bit willing there, Liam, bit of push and shove.
Yeah, a little bit of spice maybe just starting to come into this game, as North Melbourne are only within 2 points. They're probably the only team that could score from here, although the ball's pretty much on neutral territory with a little bit under 20 seconds to go. North are trying to get it out and have one last push inside forward 50, but there's just an incredible number of players around the ball. It's so hard to get out, although the umpire's found a free kick for holding the footy. It'll go the way of Darebin. They want to get it moving quick, but I think time's going to beat them, and it will. There's the siren for three-quarter time. North Melbourne finally got on the board with a rewarding goal from Jess Morney.
And there's going to be a bit of a push and shove, because Celebrity, I think, got involved with a incident with Bradley. Bradley was down behind play, and she's gotten up now, and somebody's seen something when Celebrity, I think it was Loughnane, and had a few choice words, and a little bit of push and shove to say, we do not like what happened there. So obviously those on YouTube, we're not looking at the screen monitor as we speak, but those on YouTube might be able to scroll it back and might have seen what happened. But certainly no love lost between these sides, and a little bit of a pressure cooker when it's a low-scoring game, Liam, and just 2 solitary points the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I just said before that three-quarter time siren that was a little bit of spice just starting to come into the game, and I think it's proven itself. North Melbourne finally on the board. Just Morning, that goal was important, and they're within 2 points, and I think it's going to be a cracking last quarter of footy without a doubt.
No question. Goal kickers so far, 1 each for McKay for Darebin and 1 to Jess Morney for North Melbourne. So it's Darebin 139, leading North Melbourne 117. We're going to be back right after this.
Happen to anybody at any age. The best way to help someone is to learn the signs of stroke and know how to act fast. F is for face. Has their face drooped? A is for arms. Can they lift both arms? S is for speech. Is their speech slurred? Do they understand you? T is for time. Call 000. Time is critical. If you see any of these symptoms, act fast. Learn the signs of stroke and you could save a life. Go to strokefoundation.org.au/fast to find out more.
If you're after the most comprehensive coverage on women's football across Australia, then look no further than Rookie Me Central. Formerly Draft Central, Rookie Me Central has news and reviews, podcasts, videos, and much, much more on all the state leagues across the country, including the VFL Women's and NAB League Girls. Find out why everyone turns to Rookie Me Central for their women's football content. Follow Rookie Me Central on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at Rookie Me Central.
Storms are Australia's most costly natural disaster. Getting prepared now is the best way to protect people and to minimise damage to your property. Keep your gutters, downpipes and drains clear and stash any loose items in yards or on balconies. Trim any trees and branches hanging too close to your house and keep your roof in good repair. For emergency help, call the SES on 132 500.
There are plenty of classic hits radio stations, but this is where GoRadio.live is different. We unashamedly select the best music from our chosen era. We develop programs that provide the music with minimal interruption. For many hours of the day, you won't hear any announcers, just great music and the occasional station ID. We let the music play through until the end, no crossfades and no announcers talking over the start and end of tracks. We think you're going to love GoRadio.live, radio as it should be. Check it out at www.goradio.live or download the free app from Google Play or the App Store.
We'd like to show you what's dangerous about Australian rivers, but we can't. You can't see ice-cold water, snags like tree branches or strong currents, but they can be lethal. Although our rivers are beautiful, more Australians drown here than anywhere else. So please, wear a life jacket, avoid alcohol around water, never swim alone, and learn how to save a life. It's simple. Respect the river. For more information, visit royallifesaving.com.au/respect the river.
I came to clean and noticed there was no food in the house.
She told me her sister just forgot to pay a few bills.
He was in for his monthly trim. When I noticed the bruising.
Is there anything I can do?
Thousands of older Australians experience elder abuse every year. If you're concerned about someone you know, you don't need to have all the answers. Call 1-800-ELDER-HELP for free confidential information and support.
It's the VFL Women's Match of the Day.
Indeed it is on the VFLW YouTube channel. It is Darebin versus North Melbourne, and we've got the close one, Liam. Darebin 139, North Melbourne 117. Obviously, we would have liked a few more goals kicked by either side, but the margin, it's a nail-biter. It's 2 points the difference. Can Darebin hold on, or will North push them over in the end?
Well, I said at half-time that something could happen, and North Melbourne's definitely within the reach of the game, without a doubt. It's going to be a thrilling last quarter. I was hoping not to maybe raise the voice too much, but if it gets to that stage with a minute or two to go, I might have to, unfortunately, Peter.
Yeah, test the tonsils out. Stats of both sides at the moment for North Melbourne. Annabelle Scott's got 20 disposals. Jess Duffin with 18. Sarah Skinner with 17. For the Darebin Falcons, 14 touches for Nicole Callanan. 13 each for Gogos and Mifsud. 9 each for Buckley, McGay, Meyer, and Plunkett, and Simpson as well. Just quickly putting on the pressure, Gogos has got 7 tackles. Callanan and Celebrity with 5 each. And for North Melbourne on the tackle count, it's Perry King with 7 tackles, 5 for Bradley.
Rightio. Thank you very much, Peter. I think the Borough are still in front over at Icon Park as well, which is very, very good to see as players are just making their way down into their positions now. Just about to get ready to go for this last quarter of footy as a little bit of a breeze flies in to the commentary screen window as the Borough actually have an 11-point lead against Carlton at three-quarter time. We'll keep an eye on that in the last quarter as we're underway here at Arden Street for the last quarter. McGrath got the tap for North Melbourne. and she went in there but to butter up again and got the tackle on her team, opponent in Lynch. The ball goes forward a little bit for North Melbourne, went through the hands of Skinner. Going in for Darebin that time was Callanan, and she couldn't get out with the footy that time, and the umpire will call the footy. Still in the centre square, and that time Lynch got the tap down for Darebin. Gogos got the quick kick away, and now they're going to go forward here from Celebri. And now North Melbourne tried to butter up that time through Lothnane. She took about 2 on, and the umpire will say that's holding the footy. And a free kick will go to Kelly Duparquet, and they'll go inside forward 50 here. She handballs off to a teammate and Callanan will find a target, and that's nicely done. Mark taken there that time, Peter. It looks like it's actually Meyer. Another 26 potentially.
No, it's a 3, so...
Yep, that's silly by me.
I think it's McKay, yep.
McKay kicks inside, just a little bit more, couldn't quite find a teammate that time. 2 sets of hands intercepted nearly by North Melbourne. I'll tell you what, Duparquet off the ground has kicked a goal! There you go. The soccer skills came out very, very handily there. And that's also important for Darebin, and they kick away. They're now 2-3-15. North Melbourne 1-1-7, minute and a half gone in this final quarter. The Rebel VFLW match of the day here on YouTube. Peter, that's breathing space they needed very, very quickly early on in that quarter.
Well, don't you love it when they go down the corridor? Both sides have been playing mostly the boundary line, and they'll zigzag through the middle every now and again. Darebin start the term by going straight down the corridor and get rewarded for it. 8 points the difference. 2 minutes gone in this final term here on the VFLW YouTube stream. Lynch knocked it around. Annabelle Scott, hurry kick, couldn't quite control it there. Was the player coming through in Meyer. But Darebin will have the football coming off the half-back flank. They come out towards centre wing broadcast side. McKay chasing after the football, sees it over and out. Just tapped it to avoid the lasso rule after she was under pressure from Tegan Bradley. We'll have it thrown in right in front of our broadcast spot. 8 points the difference. Darebin leading North Melbourne. Umpire cleans the ball to make sure it's not slippery. And he heaves it back into play. Once again, McGrath wins it down versus Lynch. Hurry kick out of there by Annabelle Scott to go up the line. Taken away here by Paige Kearney for Darebin. Kind of bounced off Perry King there. Trying to create the pressure. Originally was through McDonald, but the Falcons move it up the line. Only as far as Jess Duffin, who was besieged upon by Hibbert. Umpire circling, waiting for it to come out. Carly Tupaque. Getting in there, Lothnane for North Melbourne. Umpire comes in and says, dumped. Can't do that. Carly Tupaque gets a free kick. So a chance for the Darebin Falcons to go inside 50 once more. North have been dominating the inside 50s so far in this contest. But Darebin are making theirs count. Duffin! You could just see it. Missett was trying to get herself ready to take the big mark, and Duffin said, you've got no chance.
Well, interesting there. Missett actually had about 5 metres on Duffin there, and then Duffin just drifted across and took another intercept mark for the afternoon. And a crunching tackle is laid there on McKay, and it'll be a free kick going the way of North Melbourne. Great tackle there by Paterno. Right when she needed it most, she kicked short. Guess who? Duffin again. There's disposal number 20. Duffin kicks down the line, needs a target, finds it in Skinner, went through her hands but butted up, went a second time, got it, got a kick away, just went through the hands of her teammate, and crumbing at the ground there was the ruckman in Lynch. Lynch kicks it to about 55, went through the hands of Simpson and her defender there from North Melbourne in Paterno, who drifted across, and now it's inside forward 50, and it's going to be another dangerous time here for North Melbourne as they're going to have a shot on goal. I think it's Buckley who's got the footy. Or Hibbert, I should say. She's going to go back from, I'd say she'd kick from 40 to 45 out.
Mifson's deep in the goal square.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on her, Peter. She could be the one that could get it as Hibbert kicks to the top of the square. Watch for it. Mifson was there, got her opponent out of the way, and it's touched through for her behind. And the margin has just gone out to 9 points now. Darebin 2-4-16, North Melbourne 1-1-7, and we've gone about 5 minutes in this final term as Duffin prepares to bring the ball back into North Melbourne now. She plays on, kicks to just about outside 50, strong mark taken overhead that time by Britt Gibson.
Gibson's got the footy as we've gone 5 minutes into this final term. 16-7, Darebin lead North Melbourne. Oh, is it over the boundary line? And the boundary umpire right there on the spot said yes, it was. And Michaelia Meyer gets the resulting free kick. Meyer elects to play on. Oh, wants to sell the candy. Had the jumper pull, managed to get the hand pass away in time, but sold Callanan up the creek, who just managed to get the kick away to Blackwood. Blackwood sets it high inside 50, putting the hands up. Mietta McDonald there for North Melbourne. Sierra Fitzgerald had to get his hand pass out hurriedly. Trying to get there is Perry King for North Melbourne. On the bottom of it is Nicole Callanan, and the umpire says, I'll take the footy back, please. 52 metres out from Darebin's goal. They lead 2-4-16 to North 1-1-7. We throw it up in the air. Again doing the ruck work is Elizabeth McGrath. Umpire blows the whistle and says there is no prior opportunity in this contest. I'll take the football back as drizzle starts to come down at Arden Street Oval.
It'll make the ground even more slippery than what it already was this morning when I first turned up. Soccer skills might have to come out a little bit more once again. Gogos has the footy for Darebin. She kicks inside the forward 50. That's a good kick too because Mifsud is there. At the fall of the ball, snap around the body. Came from Simpson, but it's through for a behind. And Darebin now lead by 10 points to 5-17. They are 1-1-7 North Melbourne. And we've gone 6.5 minutes in this final quarter as Duffin will prepare to bring the ball back in as the trainers are running out for North Melbourne. It appears that someone might be in a little bit of trouble. We don't know who it is yet. We'll keep an eye on them as Duffin plays on. Gains about 20 metres. Kicks to the outer side once again. Went through the hands of both King and Callanan for both sides. At the fall of the ball there was Buckley. She kicks inside the forward 50 and the ball has been cut off nicely there by North Melbourne. That mark taken there that time. Who was it, Peter? I couldn't quite catch it.
I was watching the trainers who went out with a false alarm and came back again, but it's the number 5, Mietta McDonald, who's got it. Now they kick up the line, McDonald, and just went through the hands there. Lynch couldn't hang on to it. Nicole Callanan comes in to knock the ball away from Ibrahim. Go Goss, set up nicely. Mark taken 45 metres out from goal. In the hands of Steph Simpson. Now she decides to go short with a kick. Works out okay to Rachel Hibbert, who says, I swear I'm not playing on. And will line up from 35 out. So let's see how she goes here on the slight angle. And if she can kick this, I might just call it the nail in the coffin. As much as we're only 8 minutes into this final term. Hibbert looking for her first of the day. It's dark and overcast with light drizzle here at Arden Street Oval. In she creeps. Launches. Gets it! Darebin fans start banging on the fence. Rachel Hibbert has her first. And Darebin go out to 3-5-23. North Melbourne 1-1-7 here at Arden Street Oval. Now it's time to gamble for North Melbourne. What moves do they have to make to be able to come back and pinch this one?
It's hard to say, Peter, because you just don't know where it's going to come from. I'll tell you what, Darebin have been impressive the first 8.5, nearly 9 minutes of this last quarter.
I'll throw the theory out there. Look, I know Darebin's obviously playing in defence, and obviously some players got to play certain positions because of what they want for AFLW. But when the game on the line, you go, right, Duffin on the ball.
Yeah, throw it in the middle, I reckon.
Roll the dice, go for it.
Yep. But we'll have to keep an eye on to see what happens there. Ball's back in the middle. Lynch won the tap for Darebin. It looks like it might... Oh, there she is, actually. She came in off the half back into the centre square there, and she's taken an intercept mark. So Duffin, speaking of her, she kicks towards the 50. That's a nice mark taken overhead there by one of her teammates. Now, they need a mark here. It goes without saying, but it drops just short. Picking up the ball there was Meyer. She gives it over to Lynch. Lynch now kicks it away, overrunning the footy, but trying to run onto it now is Ibrahim for North Melbourne. Beating her to it there that time, I think it was Gunn. Now picking up is Hazlitt. Hazlitt kicks forward, and she'll find a teammate, and the goal kicker in Hibbert. Hibbert will go back on her mark, take a little bit of time off to allow her teammates to get back. She kicks to the outer side. That's a nice kick too. And the mark has been taken there on the outer side as it's trying very, very hard to try and see through this drizzle. But once again, they go inside 50. The footy just bobbles off the chest there of McNeese. And now the ball will go out of bounds for a throw in with 10.5 to go. It is now crunch time for North Melbourne.
In fact, it's a lasso rule because it went outside the 50. It's Michaelia Meyer that ends up with a resulting free kick for the Darebin Falcons. Meyer looking around for some options. Elects to go with a pass towards the forward pocket. A little bit too much weight on the kick. Up and overran it. Steph Simpson went with a snap, and it's away to the right-hand side. Minor score for Darebin. They go to 3-6-24. North Melbourne 1-1-7 as we approach the halfway mark here of the final quarter at Arden Street Oval. Quickly around the grounds, and it's 11 points the difference out there at Icon Park. Port Melbourne 4-10-34, Carlton 3-5-23.
You would think that maybe they've nearly done enough out there at Icon Park. The Borough Duffin went up the highway, up the middle. The ball's just on the edge of the centre square on the outer side here at Arden Street as the drizzle has just gotten a little bit heavier. It's that real sort of annoying misty rain. A bit of a commentator's curse, really, because it makes it even harder to see. Either way, the ball is up. No one really got the tap. Both ruckmen had hands on it, and they're running back to try and get to the footy first. For Darebin is Hazlitt. She overruns it. McNeese had the footy, and now they'll go inside forward 50 again. A few slipping and sliding players going down. It is a free kick to North Melbourne as the rain actually just gets a little bit heavier. Short passes on. Mark taken by Scott. Scott has the footy. She'll go down the outer side, the Macaulay Road side. About 3-on-3. Ball lands out the back. Running onto the footy first was Skinner. Skinner will get it. Tries to step around her opponent. She slipped over, which was probably the worst possible result for North Melbourne, although they still have the footy. Well, the kick went towards Lynch. She dropped it. And now it is a genuine contest to try and get the ball forward. Slaney had it. Quick handball. Ball's gone about 8 metres high and not far enough. Who's got the footy there now? Overrunning it was Murley. And now there's a free kick going the way of North Melbourne. Now this is important. Can they go inside 50, get a mark at a potential shot on goal? They're going to try. Although that kick's a little bit dangerous. Duffin! In front, takes the mark.
Push.
Oh no, it is a free kick. Interesting decision there. I didn't really see a push. Definitely saw a good mark to Duffin, but either way, we'll be going to Darebin. And the free kick. She looks like a little bit of cramp there to the player receiving the ball.
Works out for Darebin. They just killed about 20-25 seconds off the clock with that.
Exactly right. Hibbert has it. Smart play. Just like the out and the full in the first quarter. Kicks to the edge of the centre square. Went through the hands of Cowley du Parquet. Comes to ground. They try to get a handball away. Slaney throwing the body around once again. She'll come out with the footy this time. Tried to barge through about 3 Falcons players. And now the ball will be wrapped up courtesy of Plunkett. Just back, well, just pretty much on the centre square, just more towards the broadcast side with 7 minutes to go.
Umpire throws the ball high in the air for McGrath versus Lynch. Lynch wins it down. Wants to put it down the throat there of Buckley. Lost control of it. Celebri coming through. Cleaned up by Duffin on the way. Now the ball ends up in the hands of Emma McKay. Umpire says no, it's got to play on. Ooh. Buckley goes in there. I think maybe copping one in the cheek there was the North Melbourne player and Sarah Skinner. She was feeling her face going on. It now ends up with Alan Buckley, that free kick. Alan Buckley for the Darebin Falcons. Works it sideways. Just taking the mark is Ashley Gunn, who managed to beat out Mel Nickus. Gunn in front of our broadcast position. With 6.5 minutes remaining, sees Darebin 24-7 leading North. The long kick down the line towards now what's now going to be half back for North Melbourne. And they'll send it back from whence it came. Mark taken. Craven now goes on the right boot. Up the line with a kick looking for Skinner. Went through her hands. Mifsud over the top of the footy. Is she ridden from behind? Yes, says the umpire. Skinner into Mifsud's back. Free kick for the Darebin Falcons. They're looking ahead towards their possible second victory of the season. Their first coming with a spectacular come from behind win against Williamstown when they trailed 32-0 at quarter time. And they could be pulling out win number 2 here if they manage to hold on. Unless Jess Duffin has something to say about it. And she manages to bring down Emma McKay and says, I'm going to try and will this side over the line. She gets on the right boot, the Duff. Over the head there of Gibson. Mifsud dropped it. Gibson's lurking nearby if she can receive the football. Umpire comes in and says no prior opportunity. Tackle being laid on there by Ashley Gunn. And we'll call for a ball up.
Jess Duffin will not ever surrender. She's had a blinding afternoon. Ball was up in the air. The ruck tap went to McGrath that time. And it was wrapped up pretty much immediately before Gibson and Co could get any hands on it and try and get a clearing ball forward. There's 5 minutes to go. Mifsud in the ruck now. Got the tap down, only went as far as Skinner for North Melbourne. They're inside forward 50. What can they do from here? The ball's hugging the boundary line. Gogos goes in for Darebin. She was taken too high there and will get a free kick. Taken way too high there was Gogos, the former Bulldog. She'll take her time a little bit to get to her feet and take the kick. She's deep in the pocket. She's about 40 out from her defensive goal. She plays on now. She'll kick it back in front of the building here at Arden Street. Went through the hands of Callanan. Skinner's got the football, although went to ground pretty quickly. Duffin's now on the ball, and that time it's gone out of bounds for a lasso, and the kick will go the way of Simpson. Well, hang on, the umpire's going to confer here. And they are going to stick with the lasso decision. Yes, they will. It'll go the way of Simpson for Darebin. So she plays on, gets a nice arc, got around her opponent on the standing mark, slipped through the hands of Duffin, out the back to McGrath, kick up in the air. They need a mark here. Going up very early was Celebrity. And now they're going to go forward North Melbourne. They bring it back to the middle of the ground from Slaney. Slaney's kick was good. Finds a teammate in Morney. Morney will go inside forward 50, but can they get someone on the back of the footy? Running back to provide a shepherd was Vine for her teammate. The soccer skills might have to come in handy. Trying to kick off the ground there that time was Paterno, I think it was. And now they're going to have a shot on goal here, North Melbourne, as the rain intensifies once again. It is going to go the way of McGrath, I think. Not 100% sure, or a Vine. It might be Vine, actually. We'll have a look. Standing side on at the moment makes it a little bit harder. But it's a set shot on goal. Important for North Melbourne. Kick is on the way. It's drifted across to the left through from behind, and it was off the boot of Vine. And now they go to 1-2-8. And Darebin a 3-6-24, and we've just ticked into the third last minute of this game.
Yep, North Melbourne got to kick 3 goals in 3 minutes. A very difficult job with the rain teaming down here at Arden Street Oval. The ball to come back in, and we'll go short to Callanan. Wisehead, who will just try and slow things down, take as much time off the clock as she can. Now goes for a run, stays wide towards the broadcast side, half back flank, looking for Mifsud. Yeah, particularly in these conditions. Stuck solid in her hands. She says, just calm it down, calm it down. Mifsud on the right boot, goes up the line, works out okay. Managing to find Steph Simpson, the captain. Simpson just wants to play keepings off footy, you feel. Runs at it, goes long down the line. Through the hands there of McKay, close. Through the hands originally of McAloon. Manages to catch a North Melbourne opponent up against the boundary line. That player being Loughnane. And sees the ball over and out. We'll have a throw in between centre wing and the half-forward flank for the Darebin Falcons. They lead 3-6-24. North Melbourne 1-2-8.
Ball's about to be tossed back in. Boundary umpire just getting a little bit of excess water off the footy. It'd be so heavy now, that footy as well. It'd be like an absolute, can't even describe it really. It'd be just like a big bar of soap, slippery in the hands as well as being very hard to kick. Ball back into play. McKay had the footy. She couldn't quite pick it up. She was just trying to tap it towards the boundary line to her own advantage, and now there's a little bit of reinforcements as we get at a around-the-ground score in the 19th minute at Icon Park. And it's going to be the Borough. They're 20 points in front of Carlton, 5-13 to 3-5. Congratulations to the Borough and what's going to be a fantastic win against the Blues this morning. Now, there's going to be another push forward here for Darebin. It's going to be taken by Callanan. We're ticking into the last minute of the play. As a great commentator over in the UK says on the cricket coverage there in David Law, you can just about start the car. Callanan goes inside forward 50, went through the hands of Duffin. It comes to ground, going in there hard was Paterno, I think it was, and now they're going to come back once again. Callanan had the football once again, it was stripped from her. North Melbourne are going to try and relieve once again through that woman in Duffin. She's had a magnificent afternoon. Quick kick that time came from McDonald. It's just ever so hugging that boundary line. And getting up out of the tackle impressively, but although someone might have been injured there for Darebin was Bradley, she got the ball away. Very slow to get to her feet there for Darebin. It looks to be Lynch. But with under 20 seconds to go, Darebin are going to get the 4 points here today. Time for one last stoppage, one last ruck hit out. There was one that time by McGrath. And once again, we might have one stoppage, although it's a free kick for holding the ball. It's going to go the way of Darebin. Callanan, Gogos goes inside forward 50, and that'll be it. Simpson just had the ball go over her head from the one last kick of the day from Gogos, and Darebin have got the job done. They end up 3-6-24, North Melbourne 1-2-8, and that's win number 2 for the year for the Falcons. Peter, what a game of footy.
And back-to-back wins for the Darebin Falcons over North Melbourne. Darebin was struggling last year. North were trying to push for the finals. Darebin knocked them off at Arden Street Oval, and they've done it again. 3-6-24 to 1-2-8. And that means out of that victory, only 2 sides remain winless in the VFLW for this year, and that is both North Melbourne and the Western Bulldogs.
Yeah.
At the moment, North Melbourne's second last, percentage 41.2%, not as bad as the Bulldogs on 10.6.
Yeah, gee, that's a very interesting stat, but obviously with the AFLW finishing very, very soon, and with some players potentially becoming available to play in the VFLW, I don't think that those 2 teams will be winless for very, very long.
And full-time now at Icon Park, Port Melbourne 5-13-43, defeating Carlton 3-5-23. And that gave Port Melbourne their first win for the year. And they jumped Carlton on the ladder as well, sending Carlton to third last. And for the Darebin Falcons winning this game, their percentage is weak at 46.4. But their 2 wins have them sitting in 7th spot. They are literally tied for 6th. Just on percentage, they're in 7th.
That's good. A lot of things to like about that for Darebin. If they can keep the way they're going and get those tight wins and even upset teams that are up in that top 6 at the moment, anything could be possible for this side.
Indeed, it may help set them up for the rest of the year. Let's have a look at some stats before we go here on the VFLW YouTube stream. Of course, goal kickers today for Darebin, Carly Duparquet, Rachel Hibbert and Emma McKay. For North Melbourne, it was Jess Morney. Possession count in the end, 51-49, North's favour. Kicks 158 to 168, Darebin's favour. 70-51, North's favour on handballs. Marks 56-49, North's favour. Tackles almost dead heat. North 58, Darebin 59. Hitouts 31-30, North's favour. Inside 50s, dead even in the end, 30 all. Rebound 50s, 26-28 in Darebin's favour. And if we go to some of the individual player stats, we'll start with the Darebin Falcons, the winners today. 20 touches each for Nicole Callanan and Angelica Gogos. 16 for Mifsud, 14 for Simpson. And for North Melbourne, 27 touches for Jess Duffin, 23 for Annabelle Scott, 19 for Sarah Skinner.
Yeah, when I turned up today, just on a Darebin Falcons point of view, I crossed Gogos, Callanan and Mifsud as the big 3 players, and I was correct. I look at it this way. With these teams coming into AFLW next year, Hawthorn, Essendon, Port Adelaide and Sydney, I would not rule out definitely those 3 potentially coming back into the AFLW system. As for Jess Duffin, absolutely not surprised at all. She was magnificent today. Maybe could have thrown her into the midfield a little bit earlier to potentially give her the midfield a little bit more oomph, but her work in the back line today, simply magnificent.
As far as I'm concerned, tick the boxes to make herself say, hey, look, I'm ready for AFLW selection. Now it just comes down to, I guess, balance and makeup of that North Melbourne team. And you know, it's one of those good things, bad things. If North Melbourne AFLW win today, then it makes it very hard for her to get back in because, you know, do you mess with the winning combination? It's one of those side effects of success.
Yeah, exactly right. And I suppose the good thing for North Melbourne is that they've got players, as we sort of mentioned, that play at this level who can push for AFLW level, and you never know, come finals, that there could be definitely a name or 2 from this side that could play in a qualifying final or preliminary final even.
And particularly remember with the injuries and health and safety protocols, you could be called up at any moment, like that Fremantle footballer who had that 3-hour drive to play last night. Who knows? So you've got to be on form and you've got to be ready, and certainly Jess Duffin did well in the losing side today for North Melbourne. But in the end, it was Darebin 3-6-24 defeating North Melbourne 1-8. To Liam Vertigan, thank you very much for your company this morning.
Thank you very much, Peter. An absolute pleasure.
I'm Peter Holden from WARFradio.com. Don't forget, you can follow us on social media at WARF Radio, or follow the VFL on social media at VFL. Go to the VFL website, just put in VFL.com.au for all the information you need about the VFLW, including next week when you'll find out about games. All games will be on YouTube, excluding Bulldogs and the Hawks, which will be the AFL.com.au game. Until next week, thank you very much for your company, and it's goodbye from Arden Street Oval.